has a history with women. That is not good. Raymond is known for inappropriate touching at comedy events, using ghost accounts to stalk those who decline his advances, and accosting female Planet Fitness members. At a comedy event in Detroit, an attendee was nearly forced to pugilistic intervention when Raymond charged at his fiancée. In this presentation, the Institute for Ray DeVito Studies examines the origins of Raymond's sinister behavior towards women. Chapter 1. A Mother's Burden.
Well, here's the deal, man. My mom's dead. She's a piece of shit to me when I was a kid. Yeah, it wasn't cool. It wasn't cool. I didn't have a great relationship with my mom. She didn't like me. My mom hated my guts. But when I was a kid, everything that went wrong, anytime any trouble, my mom just assumed it was my fault. That's just really, and I get where my mom was coming from.
Section 1. A disrespectful and dishonest child.
My parents had full-time jobs. I'd get in trouble all the time because I couldn't shut up at school. Was always in detention, always in in-school suspension. My mom would get called at work to come pick me up. I got kicked out of Cub Scouts because the den leaders didn't want me up. And I'm not even gonna say funny. I was just I couldn't shut up. I couldn't quit moving.
So hugging everybody. Ray's a good old school hugger. You can tell the audience you love hugging, right? It's your favorite. There's ice cream and hugging, right?
Raymond's two favorite things are ice cream and hugging.
Growing up, you would think I was the worst. I was the black sheep. Anytime anything went on at the house, my mom just took my sister's side. So obviously this is Ray's fault. What did Ray do? It was never fun talking to my mom. My mom just, every time I would say something, she's like, no, what really happened?
Just like the people who know Raymond today, his mother knew he was a dishonest little shit.
If my mom was alive, I would give her shit about my childhood. I definitely would call her out on it. But yeah, I didn't have anything in common with my mom. I didn't talk to my mom about anything. I didn't want to. Anytime I talked to my mom about anything, it was a bummer. It was all she did is talk about the shitty parts of what I was talking about. And it's all right, you're focusing on the wrong thing.
Raymond says his mother focused on the wrong things. Most likely she focused on the inconsistencies in his stories, omission of his own culpability, and accountability for his actions.
Growing up, it was my grandma, my dad's mom, that grandma, and then my Aunt Judy, who's my mom's sister, that were the two people that fucking loved me when I was growing up. So people say Alzheimer's not good, but my grandfather forgot that he hated me and would talk to me. So my mom would cry that my grandpa had Alzheimer's, and I'm like, this is the nicest he's ever been. This guy has hated my guts my entire life, and now he's talking to me like we're best friends. He forgot he fucking hated me.
Raymond considers Alzheimer's a blessing because it made his grandfather forget what a piece of shit his grandson was.
But my Aunt Judy let me know, no, he just hated men. He hated men. He hated my dad. He hated all men. And I think my mom picked that up from her dad, that she didn't like men because of him.
Before it was Kevin Brennan, Raymond's grandfather was the one who told people to hate him.
That's what my Aunt Judy says. My mom didn't like men because my grandfather didn't like men. And he just didn't like dudes. And I was a dude. And I was his only fucking grandson. And he treated me like shit. He hated my guts.
Raymond's grandfather wanted a grandson. What he got was Raymond.
But I used to lie all the time when I was a kid. I grew up, it was me, my two sisters in one bedroom, and then my mom and my dad in the other bedroom. And I have ADHD, I have anxiety issues. I was always in trouble in school. My parents would be at work. My mom would get phone calls to come pick me up from school because I was out of control. So any time anything happened in the house, it was always my fault. Anything with me and my two sisters, it was always, this is Ray's fault. And So because of that, like if I was like, all right, I'm going to get blamed for something, I would just lie about everything. I never told my mom anything. And then when I did, I would just lie to her. And I just did that. And anything I said to my mom, she just assumed was a lie. Like what was I trying to hide? I just didn't talk to my parents growing up. I didn't talk to them. When I didn't have to talk to them, I just didn't talk to them. I just didn't want to interact with them. Like I used to lie a lot when I was a little kid. I would lie all the time. Mm-hmm. And I said this the other day on a podcast. The reason why I would lie is I grew up in a bedroom with two sisters, my parents in the other. I have anxiety and ADHD. I would always get in trouble. My mom would have to leave work to come pick me up from school. Mm-hmm. I was always a kid in trouble. So whenever something happened, my mom never believed me. Whatever. It was already my fault. Mm-hmm. And she didn't believe whatever I said. So therefore, as a little kid, I would just lie all the time to be like, just to squash it. I would never tell her details. I would just like,
no, they didn't hit me. It's not like they woke up every day and wanted to hit me.
A dubious claim.
But I will say this. I was in 10th grade and I wrote a paper about my dad beating the shit out of me. So I'm in 9th grade and my dad hit me. He was a carpet salesman. He would get like, if you do so much stuff, you get like free. So he got a Walkman, this top of the line Sony Walkman. And my dad never used a Walkman. And it was called a Sony Budokan, whatever a Budokan was. My dad never used a Walkman, but he was like, don't use a Walkman. Then I would use the Walkman. And then one day he saw me using the Walkman and he just beat the crap out of me. So I would use it and he got mad at me. He's like, don't use. And then one day I was in the house and I had it and he beat the shit out of me. And I mentioned it in a paper in 9th grade. And they sent a social worker over to our house. Ray, I saw your paper. I want to talk to you about it afterwards. She goes, you wrote some things that are concerning about your dad. She says this in front of the whole class.
Oh, my God.
About your dad hitting you. And she's like, I gave your paper to social services. And I started crying right there in front of the whole. And they're like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? Like, I'm going to say 9th or 10th grade.
Okay.
And I just started bawling. I just started crying my eye. I'm not even thinking I'm in front of. My dad never hit me after that. But what my mom, both my parents are dead. They both died young. My mom used to use that against me for years. Like anytime something didn't go my way, and I was like, "What are you going to write a paper about this? What are you going to write a paper?" Like would throw it back in my face. And then I remember my mom used that as a weapon against me after, like, anytime anything happened in the house. What are you going to do? Write a paper about it? And that's when he stopped hitting us. There was no more hitting. And then my mom would give me sarcasm. Like, every time I did something wrong, like, what are you going to do? Write a paper about this?
So funny. That's so great.
Yeah. She always held that against me. My dad never hit me again after that. But then my mom would throw it in my face every time I got. It was like, "What are you going to write a paper about this?" So
wait, you wrote a paper and then they called the social worker over?
Yeah, they called the social worker.
They must have been so pissed.
My dad never hit us again.
Wow.
And that was, I remember thinking that was fucked up. But here's what was fucked up about that with my mom. My mom is dead. My mom said, I was always getting kicked out of school. I was always an in-school because I couldn't shut up. But my mom would use that against me afterwards, like, every time something I got in trouble, I'm like, what are you going to do? Write a paper about this? What are you going to do? Write a paper? Like, she would throw it back in my, throw it back in my face. And it's like,
you were like the journalist of your family.
Yeah. Like, what are you going to do? Write a paper about this? Like, and then the social worker came over, talked to my parents, talked to my sisters, talked to all of us. And my dad never hit us again after that. But what I did not like is how my mom would throw that back in my face.
That you were a snitch?
Like, anytime anything happened, she's like, what, are you going to write a paper about this? What are you going to?
Section 2. The window washing racket.
My moment of clarity that my mom wasn't right, or not she wasn't right, where she was like kind of not cool to me, where it kind of, there's some clarity to it, was I think I was in 8th grade, and me and my friend Adib, who lived like right around the corner from me. My one friend Adib, who's still one of my good friends, and I see him every once in a while back in Cleveland. My friend Adib, who's he's still my childhood friend. He lived like right around the corner from us. We would like wash windows at like 7-Eleven or like the bars and like the whoever was working, they were like, give us a few bucks or whatever. And just because like we did their work, so they didn't have to.
And like, I remember like my mom was always skeptical. Like we used to like wash windows at the bars in Lakewood, Ohio. No, we were doing that 7-Eleven. And we used to like wash windows at like 7-Eleven and like, the bars in Lakewood, Ohio. And then they like give us like $5-10 or whatever.
And so we went to 7-Eleven. The lady owed us $20 because we washed the windows like 2-3 days, whatever we did. And she wouldn't give us the $20.
And the lady owed us $20. We do her side work, and she was supposed to give us $20, and she wouldn't do it. And she's like, no. The store clerk at 7-Eleven stole $20 from us.
Jesus Christ.
And we walked over to a Deep's house.
DeVito's an Italian last name, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, my mom wasn't Italian. She was Slovak. My dad was Italian.
And we're like, this is bullshit. So we went across the street to a Deep's house, and his mom was there.
And then we just went across the street to Deep's mom, and then she went across the street and got our $20 for us.
And Adib just told her the story, and she walked us back over there to the 7-Eleven, and the lady gave us our $20.
And we went over to Adib's house, and we told his mom, and his mom was upset, walked across the street to the 7-Eleven and got our $20 back. And I was like, my mom never would have done that.
And in my head, I'm like, that can happen? Like, that never would have happened with my mom.
And I just remember being a kid, like, I was shocked. It's like, wait, that can happen? I'm like, you can actually tell your mom when someone fucks you over and she believes you and like handles it.
Yeah.
My mom would have been like, no, what did you really do? Like, why? Like, she wouldn't have, like, she just wouldn't, like, I was always like, no, what are you up to? What's your story?
Like, if I would have said that to my mom would have been like, she wouldn't have believed me. Like, she never would have went over and be like, hey, give my kid his $20. I was just in awe. Like, wait a minute. Moms actually believe you when you say shit? That's a real thing? My mom believed nothing I said. Nothing.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? I couldn't believe it. I was like, you can actually tell your mom that something happened and she fucking believes you and has your back? That's a real fucking thing. Yeah.
Like, she just wouldn't have just believed me because I was her kid that someone ripped off $20 from me. Like, she just wouldn't have believed me. That wasn't even in the realm of possibility.
$20 for washing windows in the early 1980s. Raymond's story is obviously bullshit. He resented his mother for not enforcing whatever shakedown scam he and his friend were running on the 7-Eleven store.
And like, that was the first time I realized, like, okay, wait a minute, parents do that? Parents can they just believe you when you say stuff? That's a real thing that happens?
Yeah, I get you. I can relate to that. Yeah.
Like, that's what like threw me off a little bit. Like, wait, they just believe you when you say things? They don't assume you're lying?
I mean, I grew up in Lakewood, Ohio, when it was like...
In this version of the story, there is no intervention by his friend's mother. Instead, it turns into a video game brawl.
Like, I grew up with this kid, Ginther's his last name. We'll just call him Ginther. But we used to like wash windows at the bar and like get a couple bucks. We're like 12, 13 years old. So me and my friend Adib and this guy Ginther, who we wash the windows and then we go to get paid from the bar owner. And the guy's like, I don't have any money on me. Come back tomorrow. And this kid who's 12 or 13, just like Little Mac and fucking Mike Tyson's Punch Out, just jumps up and punches an adult square in the face, just jumps up as hard as he can and like punches him like Little Mac and Mike Tyson's Punch Out. And the adult's just like shocked. He's like, what the hell? And he just picks the dude up and just picks my buddy up and just slams him like Donkey Kong slamming a barrel, just slams him into the concrete.
It would be reasonable to wonder if there really was another kid involved, or if it was just Raymond on his own, attacking local business owners.
Why did he punch him?
Because he didn't give him money. It's like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, those are the psychopath kids I hung out with. Like, I remember, and he's a buddy of mine. He listens to this podcast, Adib, who grew up on the same block as I did. And
yet another version of the story. This time there is no mention of window washing or any other work, just a vague description of a transaction dispute with a junkie. Raymond uses this lie-riddled story to once again highlight how much he hated his mother for never believing him. The slow's mind cannot process the concept of irony.
Some lady at 7-Eleven, we bought something at 7 and she wouldn't give us the whatever we bought. She's some junkie that just happened to work at the 7-Eleven or something. And we went over to Adib's house and his mom went over there and yelled at that lady and got our money back. And in my head, I'm like, moms do that? Moms actually believe you and take your side on it just blew my mind that it's wait a minute,
Wow.
your mom will actually have your back? When the fuck does that happen? I'm just this 14-year-old kid that happens. I thought his mom was the most amazing for doing my mom never would have done that. My mom's like, no, what did you do? No, seriously, what did you do? Why are you not telling me the truth? And yeah.
Section 3. Unruly and ungrateful.
I don't mind if people don't like me. I grew up in a house where the person that loved me the most, or the person I loved the most, and I was her least favorite person in the house. But she liked my dad. My mom liked my dad because my dad would do whatever she said. And she liked her father because he did nothing but take care of her. So she liked men that would do whatever the hell she said. So the fact that was my own personality.
At age 50, Raymond still dresses like an 8-year-old girl. His mother's disgust was almost certainly justified.
Yeah, she didn't. She didn't really care. She didn't really care for me.
My mom, she didn't like men for the most part. She liked my dad, but outside of that, she wasn't.
She like you?
No, I have ADHD and anxiety. So I was a fat kid.
I was always getting in trouble for school because I couldn't shut up. I was just more anxiety and just jumping. So I would go my parents both had full-time jobs, and my mom would get called, have to quit her job for the day to come pick me up from school and take me home. So she just looked at me as a problem child. I was always in school suspension or whatever. And again, it wasn't for fighting or I just couldn't shut up.
Didn't you say your mom hated you, or you're always yeah, my mom didn't like me?
She didn't like me at all. She
Do you
loved
think
me.
it's
She
because
didn't
she
like
kept
me.
sleeping in her room at night?
No. This is even before. Yeah, that's weird too. The one person you love the most in the world, and you're her least favorite person in the house. That fucks with your head. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
Imagine that there's 5 people in the house, and you're her least favorite person.
And you know it.
I did bang on the door when my parents were having sex. They would lock the door. My parents, when they would have sex, because we only had 2 bedrooms. Me and my sister shared 1 bedroom. My parents were in the other. And when my parents would have sex, they would lock the bedroom door so we couldn't get in.
And you would try to knock on the door while they were banging?
Yeah, and I only knew the door was locked because I would try to open it. My dad liked me way more than my mom. My mom just thought I was I talked about this before. My mom didn't really like men. She liked my dad, but outside of that, I don't think she liked men. My dad would do whatever she said. I think she's always expects more out of men, if that makes. So you can understand why she didn't like me. But my mom didn't. I have ADHD, anxiety. I would always get in trouble as a little kid, but my mom was not nice to me as a kid, but I was always the kid getting in trouble at school just for not being able to shut up or not being able to sit down. And she'd have to leave work to come pick me up and stuff. So my mom didn't like me, and she would kind of talk down to me.
Yeah, but I have ADHD and I have an anxiety disorder. So both my parents had full-time jobs. So I was just always in trouble just because I just couldn't shut up. I was just always in the principal's office for just because I couldn't shut up. So she's getting calls at work, can you come pick up your kid all the time? So I was nothing but a headache for her. I got in the most trouble at school. I could never shut up. I was always getting kicked out of class. My mom getting called at work to come pick me up. But yeah, when I was a kid, I would get, because I have anxiety, ADHD, but I used to, I would get in trouble all the time at school. I was all the time just because I couldn't shut up. I couldn't sit still. And so my mom and dad both have full-time jobs. So my mom's getting calls hey, come pick your kid up from school. I was the least liked kid in the family. I was.
Middle kids feel that way too. Yeah.
Yeah. I was. I have an anxiety disorder, ADHD. I would get in trouble all the time. I just couldn't shut up. I couldn't focus. I wouldn't shut up. I get sent home My mom have to like leave work to come pick me up from school.
That's wild, man. What's your mom like? Is she like that too, or?
No, my mom's dead.
My mom is dead. My mom's dead too. I love my mom and I. My mom, I have ADD and ADHD. So my mom didn't like me until I was in high school because I would play sports and I would calm down. But before that, my mom didn't like me. I was always getting kicked out of school. I was always in school because I couldn't shut up. I had anxiety, ADHD. I was a problem. I just couldn't shut up. I couldn't sit still. I remember I was in Boy Scouts. And then the den mother would call my mom to come pick me up. It's like I can't control your son. Come get him. So, again, when I started exercising when I got older, I became more tolerable for my parents, I'd say. But otherwise, like, no one gave a shit.
No, my mom loved me, but she didn't like me. I had ADHD, I anxiety, like I was a nightmare to raise. I was just high maintenance. I was always getting in trouble at school. She'd have to leave work to come pick me up. I just wouldn't shut up. Like, this kid's interrupting my day again. He interrupted my day last week. Now he's interrupting my day again.
My dad he worked like he was a salesman, so he'd work like 9 a.m. to like 7 p.m. Like, so he wasn't around.
Yeah.
Both my parents were. So I understand like why my mom was easily aggravated by me getting in trouble, for the like just being disruptive and be sent to the principal's office. She had to pick because she had a job working at a bank, so she'd have to leave her job to come pick me up.
Section 4. Raymond starts a school fight, loses it, then blames his mother.
How would you describe your relationship with your mom?
It was. Yeah, I mean, I was too. I know that's where I got beat up by the kid older than me, and she like made me apologize to him. So that was in that. But I was just like, my mom had a full-time job, my dad had a full-time job. I was also like a fat kid. I would just get in trouble at school for like not shutting up.
Diagnosis: full retard.
That's also a true story. I tell that like when I was in 3rd grade, I got beat up by a 5th grader. And my mom walked me over to his house and made me apologize. She's like, well, what did you do to annoy him? One more example real quick about my mom. Like the fact that I would get in trouble all the time. Anytime anything happened, it was always my fault. It was never like I got beat up by a kid. This was probably my worst childhood story, the most insulting childhood story I had. But I got beat up by this kid that was 2 years older than me that lived on our block. And my mom walked me over to his house and made me apologize. I got beat up by a kid in the neighborhood who was 2 years older than me. I was in 3rd grade, and my mom walked me over to his house. It was a dude. Brian was his name.
Yeah, you said you got with her name.
And she walked over to his house and made me apologize.
What did you tell her the story?
Yeah, my mom didn't believe me. I could say whatever I wanted to my mom, and she just wouldn't believe me. Like anytime my sister said anything, she just believed my sisters and wouldn't believe me. Did I get beat up a lot? I got not so much. Not
Did it happen?
Yeah, I would get in some fights.
I got beat up by it's a true story. When I was in 3rd grade, I got beat up by a 5th grader that lived on my street. And my mom came home and she walked me over to his house. And I'm like, what's happening? Like, she angrily took me over to his house and made me apologize. And I'm like, what the fuck is, even as a little kid, I'm like, what? And just a look of confusion on that kid's face. Like, why is this kid apologizing to me? I just totally beat the shit out of him. You know how shitty of a parent you gotta be psychologically to let some 5th grade bully feel sympathy for the victim?
I will say this, like, if my mom was alive, I would give her shit about this. I remember in 3rd grade, I got beat up by a kid on our street who was in 5th grade, and she walked me over to his house and made me apologize. And just like, yeah, everything was my fault.
Chapter 2. A House Divided.
When I was a little kid, I did hit my sisters. I had a kid come up to me and apologize, being like, dude, if I would have known Danielle DeVito was your sister, I wouldn't have fucking punched you in the face. And it's like, all right, fucking sister. How about you fucking acknowledge me in the hallways?
My sisters were curmudgeons. They were no fun. They were always no fun. And I think my younger sister, Julie, wouldn't be that way, but she just saw my older sister that way. So she just adopted that. Like, I don't think she's naturally that much of a non-fun person. She just saw my older sister be like that and was like, oh, this is what you do.
In Raymond's feeble mind, his younger sister, Julie, is only a non-fun person because his older sister, Danielle, set a bad example. It could never occur to him that his sisters are naturally frustrated when dealing with their difficult, retarded brother.
Here's what upsets me is my mom looking down on me, let my older sister know that it was also cool to look down on me, which really pisses me off.
Section 1. Raymond despised his family.
I wasn't that close with my siblings, but like my cousins, I was like best friends with all my cousins. I think part of it because like my sisters were like, and here's the deal. I don't think my younger sister was like that, like much of a recluse or whatever, but she just saw my older sister being like not interacting with anyone and just like, so she just like kind of followed that, where I was like just happy. Like, I would always, it's like I said, my sisters were kind of like, didn't really hang out with anyone. And I'm like, yeah, I fucking loved hanging out with my cousins. You know, it was, I loved hanging out with my aunts and uncles and anyone not in my immediate family, apparently. My immediate family. Although my dad was cool. My dad was cool growing up. But my mom, like, she just didn't like men, and I was a dude. And then my sisters, like, just didn't like anyone. And I think it's mostly because my older sister was a recluse, and my younger sister was like, I guess I'm going to be a recluse too, even though she married one of my best friends from high school.
Remember they had that Fun Dip? Fun Dip. That was that just like flavored sugar, like strawberry flavored sugar in one packet, and like grape flavored sugar in the other one, and then they just give you a sugar stick that you would just dip in there and just eat the sugar like that. And it's a candy you couldn't share. I think like my sisters, like that was a thing to get if you had siblings, because you can't really share that with your sibling.
Raymond's choice of favorite candy was primarily based on not having to share it with his sisters. He was a selfish, greedy little troglodyte.
Like if you get a Kit Kat, your mom could be like, hey, give your sister part of your Kit Kat, because it just breaks off into different parts. But if you got, or like if you got Rolos, be like, hey, give your sister a Rolo. You got to. But something about Fun Dip, like you don't want anyone to share their Fun Dip with you. It's like, for you want some Fun Dip? Yeah. So nobody shares, can't really share Fun Dip. You know, maybe you could stick your finger in, swirl around there, suck the sugar off your finger. That's pretty disgusting. But yeah, I think that was like a thing. If you had siblings, Fun Dip was definitely a decent candy to get because you didn't have to share it. Once you got Fun Dip, it was all yours. You know?
The king of fucking. Tell him the greatest sex story of all time, Rick. Go ahead.
Right now, it's not my story. It's not.
Would you, when you were a kid, would you sneak out of your house?
Yes, I did. I do have a sex story though about sneaking out of my house that does not involve me at all.
That's okay. I invite guests to tell me other stories that they've seen on TV or movies.
No, I got in trouble for it. If it makes you.
Yeah. Okay, that counts.
All right. Growing up in Cleveland, Ohio, it was my parents in one bedroom, my sisters, two sisters, and myself in another bedroom.
Ugh, all together?
Yes, all together up until I was 16.
Ooh. Wow.
That's old.
Yeah, Ray's period started sinking.
I had no game. Can you believe it? Can you believe I didn't get laid a lot? But my sister, my older sister, brought some dudes back while I was at school.
Raymond accuses his older sister, Danielle, of skipping school for a gangbang in their shared bedroom.
You were there?
It was hot heavy, and they left condoms in the bathroom, and I got my ass kicked by my parents.
Wow.
Because they thought my condom. Which does not make any sense, considering that anytime a girl, my dad's name, both my parents are dead. It's all right, I forgive them.
That was a side note, you guys. Don't worry about that.
He forgives them for that car accident.
One had cancer, the other one had a stroke.
Just neither here nor there. Everybody enjoy.
But back to them being shitty to me.
Before the karma took hold. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So my sister's friend fucked a dude in my bed, and there's a condom there, and my sister didn't want to get in trouble. She's like, what are these doing here? So my parents beat the shit out of me because they thought that I had sex with a girl. My dad beat me up because of that. Not my mom. My mom just encouraged me, like, yeah, give him a laugh.
What?
Yeah. So, but you know.
Wait. Are you being serious? Like she would encourage it?
Yes. Here's what was shitty about my mom. Like my mom.
You already said. He knows he doesn't know the meaning of honesty. I want you to know they're not nice.
No. I need to fix that.
Okay.
Oh, please do.
He's fixing the mic. So go ahead, Ray. We're not gonna just stare at him.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, anyways, so my dad's name also Ray, and my name's Ray. So they thought I had sex when I was like 14. Yet anytime a girl would call the house and they're like, "Is Ray there?" and my mom or my sister was just always give the phone to my dad. And then they just assumed, even though it's like a 12-year-old girl on the other line, like, hello. It's like, my son? Like, really? You mean my son? So they're like, Ray, it's a girl. Yeah, my aunts and cousins love me, but as far as like my parents, my sisters, like my immediate family, never really gave a shit about me, really. But it was a lot of fun hanging out with my cousins, and it was like, it reminded me of the good times. And then I'm like, maybe I liked hanging out with my cousins so much because I didn't have that comfortability with my own inner family. You know, maybe because my mom always put me on the back seat. Like I remember when we were a kid, one kid could ride up front at a time when we go somewhere. My mom would drive, and then there's three of us. So one could sit up front, two in the back. One has to sit up front. But if someone's sitting in the front, they want someone else to sit with them, they could always sit in the front. So it was either me, my mom in the front, my two sisters in the back, or me, my mom, my two sisters in the front while I was in the back. So 2/3 of the time, just me in the back by myself.
Okay.
When sitting with a sister in the car, Raymond could not behave himself. As any parent would do, his mother separated him from his sisters. Being a demented monster, Raymond took this as an unforgivable slight against him and dwells on it to this day.
Like just a little thing, you think my mom would have been like, no, only one could sit up front at a time. Just to be like, but not even thinking about that. Like, just like, fuck this kid. Like, make him sit in the back by myself. Like, that kind of hurt me. You get what I'm saying? Like, I felt like I was not included in my own fucking family. I didn't even hang out with my family growing up. Like, I was the least liked person in that house. I would just hang outside all day. I'm like, I don't want to go home. Yeah, my mom loved my two sisters, and I was like the one that like my anxiety and ADHD, and she's just like, I was always getting in trouble at school. Yeah, so my mom didn't. I was happy. I was happy to be out of the house. So yeah, I didn't hang out with my family.
What kind of trouble did you get into in school, Ray?
Just little things, like getting sent to the principal's office because like I have all this anxiety and I couldn't sit still. So yeah, just she'd have to like leave work to come pick me up and stuff. And it's fine. And I think that's why like I'm fine with cutting people out of my life like quickly. It's like, all right, dude, all right, you don't give a shit about me, fuck. Yeah, but my grandma, my dad's mom, Grandma DeVito, and then my Aunt Judy were probably my two favorite relatives that like love me. I would tell my Aunt Judy everything. My mom would get mad at me. It's like, how come you tell my sister everything? You don't tell me anything. It's like, because you hate my guts. She actually likes me. Like I'll actually like tell her.
Section 2. A 40-year grudge.
Where it became agnostic is when I was a little kid,
when you were walking on the beach and there was only one set of footprints and you realized you thought God abandoned you?
No. I'll go with the story I was going to say. But like when I was like 7th, like anytime something happened between me and my sisters, all they had to do is like, oh, it's Ray's fault. And it was automatically my fault, no matter what happened. One thing in particular was I want to say it was something. It's just something stupid, something little, like someone came to the door or something, or maybe it was like Christmas presents. When I was like 7, my parents told me and my sisters, like, I think they were like wrapping Christmas presents in their bedroom or something. They're like, don't go in our, like, leave us alone. We're gonna be in the bedroom for a while, whatever. But like when I was like in 2nd grade, I think my parents were like wrapping presents or something in their bedroom.
I realized this is when I got non-religious, I think in my head, is when I was in 2nd grade, 2nd or 3rd grade, I caught my parents wrapping Christmas presents.
And my sister went in my parents' room where they were like either wrapping presents or like went to the door when we weren't supposed to because they were like getting food or whatever. I forget what exactly it was, but my older sister went there, and then my older sister went in there. My older sister went in there, and then my parents like yelled at her or whatever, and whatever they said, they're like, just don't go in our bedroom or something. And my sister went in the bedroom, my older sister, and
yes, you've told the story.
My dad's like, I told you to stay on the couch. I told you, all 3 of you, to stay on the couch. And my sister goes, and then my sister, my older sister, goes, but Ray told me to. And then my parents hit me. And then out of nowhere, I'm just like minding my own business. And my mom comes and just starts beating the crap out of me. And she's like, your sister said you told her to go in there. And I was like, what? No, I have no idea. So anyways,
discovering that Santa Claus isn't real is what made you walk away from religion?
No. Yeah. And then my mom started like hitting me. And I'm like, why'd you do that? And she's like, oh, because you told her to go in the bedroom. And like,
or whatever. Or no, my parents said, don't go in this bedroom. Because they were doing something. They were wrapping Christmas presents. My sister went in and she said, oh, Ray told me to go in there. And then my mom hit me.
And then I remember like 2-3 days later, I said to my mom, I go, why'd you do that? Why do you think I said that? And I was just being honest. And she goes, a little birdie told me, like, she goes, God told me that you told Danielle or I didn't mean to say that, but you told her to like go to the door or something. It was like, so then after that, this is like a week and a half later, maybe 2 weeks later, I asked my mom, like, seriously, I said, hey, I go, just to let you know, I didn't tell my sister to go in the room. I didn't tell her to go in the room or whatever. And I go, so she goes, yes, you did. I go, why? Why would you say it? She goes, because God told me. And it's like, I knew I didn't. And it was like, and then it's like, so everything, like, and that was weird. I was like in 2nd grade, and it was like, wow, the person I love the most, like, doesn't trust me in anything I say. Anything I said, they just took my sister's side, like, growing up. So it's just weird as shit.
And I go, and this is like later, I go, well, why'd you do that? She goes, because I know you told your sister to go. And I go, I didn't. And I go, how do you know I didn't? She goes, because God told me. And I'm like, all right, I'm done with this God.
And I was like, ever since then, I was like, I'm not into this God thing. I just wasn't. Like, that literally, from then on out, I was like, I'm not into this.
Rather than own up to trying to get his sister in trouble, Raymond spites his mother by turning his back on the Lord.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I think God
I was just
wanted
like,
your parents to beat the shit out of you for no reason, so that you would have a traumatic childhood, which gave you material to be funny, so that you could make his people laugh.
No, I still love my parents, but like, that's when I was like, all right, I'm out of the God business. But I'm just saying, like, that's what ruined religion for me.
Like, one of my earliest memories of my mom is I was in like 1st grade, and she just came out of nowhere and started hitting me. And like, I had no idea what was going on. And she go, I guess her and my dad were like wrapping Christmas presents or something. And they told us all, don't go in the bedroom. Don't go in the bedroom or whatever. And my older sister went in there. And then unknown to me, I'm just like downstairs watching TV. And then all of a sudden my mom comes down and starts hitting me. And she's like, you told Danielle to go in the, because I guess my sister Danielle said, Ray told me to come in here, and that's why she went. So like, that's one of my earliest memories. My mom never believed me.
That's how it was back in the DeVito household. And then I would take a shower in the morning, and my dad would sit on the shitter and smoke cigarettes. Yeah, somehow he had a problem me sleeping next to him in his bed, but I'm supposed to be cool with him sitting on the shitter smoking cigarettes. That's a double standard, Dad. And I
Ray,
never did that.
Do you think you shower at the gym so you could smell other men's shit while you're showering?
Yes.
Section 3. Raymond blamed his mother and sisters for his punishments.
No, I had a good relationship with my dad. It was also weird too because my mom would both my parents work full time. I've gone through this a bunch on the podcast, but I would get in trouble as a kid because I have anxiety and ADHD. I used to get in trouble at school all the time, and my dad would come home from work and everything would be fine, and my mom would be like, "I need you to discipline yourself." Like she would make him hit me, and it was always weird because he wasn't mad at me, but almost like a mafia hitman. Like still have to hit me while not being mad at me, which somehow made it more weird that you could do that stone cold. Like it's your job. Like, I have to hit the kid. So yeah, I look back at it like that. My mom, did you guys get hit as kids?
I do remember watching Tom and Jerry. I remember watching Tom and Jerry doesn't exist.
Tom and Jerry are well-known cartoon characters. Raymond remembers watching them, but then immediately claims they did not exist, possibly a result of years of drug and alcohol abuse.
And I remember hating that cartoon because I always felt bad for Tom, because it was the mouse that would cause all the mischief, and then it was Tom that would get in trouble. And then he would get hit by the old lady who was, I think that's why they can't play it. She's a very, but I remember like not liking that cartoon because it was always Tom's fault when it was the mouse that would cause, I think it reminded me of my childhood. Like anytime my sisters did anything, I'm the one that took the blame for it. So I think I probably related with that cartoon a little too much. But I remember like never liking Tom and Jerry because of that. My sister saw my mom treat me like shit my entire adolescence, which explains a lot about me. That's why like I'm kind of like on my own.
I grew up with two sisters and then my mom and dad and me, and my sisters never got hit. But when I would do something wrong, my mom sometimes would also make my dad, like when he's like, will you handle your son? He did this, and though then, like I'm a loner, and a lot of my loner behavior, the therapist attributed to the fact that my two sisters, like my parents are both working full time. So it'd be my sisters and I at home, and we fight or whatever, argue, whether arguing like who watches what on TV, dumb shit. And then my sisters like call my dad or whatever, and
well, you're not fighting over bills.
Yeah. And so then my dad would come home and hit me, and then my sisters would see me getting my ass kicked, and then they would be like, "Oh no, stop!" And what's fucked up in my head, I should be mad at my dad, but in my head I'm like, mad at my sisters. Like somehow this is their fault for this happening.
The dispute was with his sisters, but ultimately Raymond blames his mother, as he always does, even to this day.
I think she encouraged my dad to hit me. Like she was the one that was like, she was upset when he quit hitting me because she was like, well, someone's got to keep him in line. Yeah, I grew up resenting my sister, so I stayed away from my family. Like when they'd all be in the room watching TV, I'd be in my own room, like, just like, I don't want to deal with them. It is, and it is sad that my dad had to be told by a social worker not to hit your kids. Like to him, he was like, well, I got hit. I assume this is how you do it. Like, that's one of the things too. I would get mad at I would resent my sisters for the fact that I would blame them for me being in that position a lot of times, because a lot of times it was because they're like, Ray's doing this, Ray's doing that.
Really?
Yeah. And then when I would get,
and they knew it lead to a beating.
And exactly.
Wow.
And then that's when I would get upset.
Mistrust of women.
Where my sister,
that's where your mistrust of women comes from.
But when my sisters would be there, like, you stop, leave him alone, leave him alone. And I want to be like, bitch, you're the reason why this is going on.
Have you ever had a close relationship with a woman?
Not extremely close. No. There we go. Pat's my new therapist.
Was Pat on something? Do you have a mistrust of women?
No, I don't know that. But I mean, I do feel like It's another thing that I've been talking to, and we haven't talked about too much. But my disconnect with people, like I feel like I connect with people, but like not, like, you know what I mean? Like you have a conversation with someone, it's like, they understand, they don't get what I'm saying. You know what I mean? And I feel that way with everybody.
Section 4. Raymond believed he was a hero and a victim of his villainous sisters.
So my mom didn't like me, and she would like kind of talk down to me, and I was like the black sheep out of her 3 children. And my older sister like kind of took that vibe. So the one thing I am a little upset with my mom about is she did not make my sis like, I like how my younger sister does it with her kids, where she makes them be nice to each other. But my mom didn't really do that. She like kind of let my sister treat me, my older sister when we were kids, treat me like shit, like the way my mom did. And that wasn't cool. Like, so I don't blame my older sister as much as that's kind of on my mom. That was on my mom. My mom needed to be like, no, that's your brother. Fucking, you have to look out for your brother. Because I remember like in regards to my younger sister, because she was a year younger than me in school. And my other sister was 2 years ahead of me in school. But so a lot of times I wasn't at the same school as my older sister. So I'm in elementary school. I'm in 5th grade. My sister's in 4th grade. Well, she ended up getting held back. So my sister, but we were at the same schools. And some kids followed me home. They wanted to beat me up because this is fucking what kids do. They're fucking idiots. Yes. And they were like coming over to bully me. And I'm walking home with my sister, my younger sister. And I didn't know what was going on, but these kids are like, they're like, oh, there he is right there. And they're like, and I just said to my sister, I go, just run home. You just go home. I'll go deal with this. And I went back and I got beat up. And I went back and like got beat up by these fucking douchebags. But I was like, I told my younger sister, I'm like, you just go home. I'll deal with this. I would never let my sisters get beat up. That's my job to punch them.
Exactly.
That's nobody else's job. I will punch my sister. Like when people gave my younger sister shit, I like looked up for my younger sister, but my older sister could give 2 shits about any of us. And it's like, so I'm more mad about that.
Niagara Falls. I went there with my parents when I was a kid, and we went to the Ripley's.
Oh, you're dead.
No. Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum, the wax museum, and they had these kids there that had, and I'm like in 2nd grade, and they had these kids there, these wax statues of kids that had progeria. That's that disease where you age like 7 years every year. And the one kid kind of looked like me, so my sister was like, hey, look, and I swore to God for the next 2 months that I had progeria. I told you about a story. I went there, Niagara Falls, where there was kids that had that disease, progeria, and those are those kids that age. And my sister, I thought I had the shit.
What is it?
Progeria. It's like when kids age. Like there's 8-year-old
you
kids,
age fast,
but they look like 80 years old.
Okay,
wow.
It's like, and one of the kids like kind of looked like me, so I just assumed I had it, and I was like kind of scared about it for a while. And so we get back.
How old were you?
Like 8.
Oh, wow.
So I get back to Cleveland, and my sister, who's never done anything funny in her life at all, my older sister, to fuck with me when I was sleeping, put baby powder in my hair. So I woke up, and she's like, what's that? I'm like, oh, my God, fucking progeria. And you know what's even more fucking sadistic?
They told you were really 2.
She let me deal with that all day until my parents came home from work. And then
that's what you're supposed to do, right?
Fucking 6 hours of me thinking I'm gonna die.
I've always been close to my cousins. That's the one thing I've always been really close to my cousins. And I think it's because my sisters hated my guts. So I was just always excited to be around other kids that were not my sisters, because my sisters were just stick in the muds. They didn't like to do anything fun. They didn't really have a lot of personality. So yeah, my cousins I would hang out all the time with. Like I said, when we lived in Lakewood, my cousins lived on one floor. We lived on the other. My cousins, Frank and Dave. And I was excited, They were like the closest I had to brothers. We all love my Aunt Judy. That was my favorite aunt growing up, my Aunt Judy. Yeah. She's the one I would talk to. That's my mom's sister. My mom would get jealous because I tell my Aunt Judy everything. My mom's like, how come you don't tell me? It's like, because all you do is judge me. Every time I tell you something, like, yeah, I didn't have a comfortable relationship with my mom. And, you know, and then even when I got older, everything was like just judged. Like I couldn't just appreciate anything I'd say. Everything was like just being judged. And it's like, where my Aunt Judy, I could say whatever. And it was, you know, the one thing I am upset with my mom about is she didn't make, like I see my friends doing it with their children, like making their children get along with each other and look out for each other. My mom didn't do that. My mom was like, okay, you guys can go ahead and hate each other. And she couldn't give two shits about that. So like, that's one thing I look at and I see my friends' families. I'm like, oh, wow. Like the fact that I look out for, and by the way, like I always look out for my sisters. Like when I was a little kid and people would bully my sisters, I would fucking get irate. I would be like, but my sisters could literally give two shits. If someone's like, all right, better them punching my brother than punching me, like literally can give two fucking shits about me.
Section 5. Raymond beat his sisters.
My parents both worked full time. I had my two sisters, and like I was the one that was always in trouble. No one else was in trouble. So like whenever anything happened between me and my sisters, it was just automatically my fault.
I get that.
Just because I was already known as the one that was like hyper, the one that like couldn't sit still, the one that would get in trouble all the time at school. To shit on myself, I'll be honest. Like I used to hit my sisters when we were young, because here's the deal: like they would call my mom and like bitch about me or something. Like I was already getting in trouble, so I was like looking back at it now, I just had this like, all right, I'm already in trouble. I'm already getting in trouble, so this is might as well. I would hit my sisters until, you know, like I would punch them just because it's like I'm already going down. Now, when I was in high school, that I stopped that. After that whole thing, when I was 14 with my dad, like that's when everyone quit hitting in my house. But until then, and by the way, my sisters would hit me too. They'd throw shit at me. They'd throw glasses at me and shit. But yeah, I'm just letting you. And I love my sisters now. They got their own lives and stuff. But yeah, I'm still cool with them. I love them both. But yeah, it was.
This is an abject lie. Danielle despises him and Julie barely tolerates him. Raymond harbors a very deep resentment towards his sisters.
Yeah, I used to. Yeah, I wasn't innocent. I'd hit my sisters too. I'll own it. I did it. But it was like I was already getting in trouble. Like already.
Yeah, but you knew that's how
my dad was going to come home and hit me regardless. You know? So it's like, I'm already getting my ass kicked from my dad when he gets home from work. So, all right, I know I'm getting punched. So let me. Yeah, which was the only thing that was beneficial about that, getting hit and beat up all the time, is like I wasn't afraid to get beat up by other kids. Like,
that's exciting.
Because I already knew how to take punches. So like when a kid that was like I'd be like, fuck it, I'm going down anyway. So I would like start fights with kids that were bigger than me just because like, all right, they're going to beat the shit out of me anyways. Like, it's like, I'm not afraid of getting punched. I've taken some punches. So yeah.
So you asked me why I don't ask questions or whatever. So this is third grade. I forget where we were. Someone went to school and we just saw the word fuck written on the wall. The word fuck. I had no idea what the word was, what it meant. I just heard the other kids that I go to school with be like, oh my gosh, look, I had no idea what the word means. One day I'm with my sister, my older sister, 2 years older than me. We're downstairs playing video game. And I just asked her, I go, hey, what does the word fuck mean? She doesn't say anything. She goes,
seen that movie.
Yeah, she goes, and then
they're not real siblings, you see.
Oh. No, she is a real sibling. Her eyes get big. I'm not mad at her for this, but her eyes get big. She runs upstairs. Next thing I know, I hear my dad running down the stairs, and he just starts beating the shit out of me.
Wow.
That was it. Didn't tell me what it meant. Didn't ask me why would you say that.
You were in third grade, so you're about 8. How old was she? What's
2 years older than me, so she's in 5th grade.
What the fuck kind of snitch is this?
Yeah, I know.
You know, like
should
have fucked her. She's definitely abused in whatever way she was abused. I don't know if that was physical, was it? To her?
They didn't get hit the way I got hit. I got like punched.
Right.
No.
But so she knew what she was doing. Like, why are you doing
that? Yeah, I get it. But she's in 5th grade. No, I'll be honest. Here's something about me being an asshole as a kid, which I will fucking admit. First of all, I love my sister. I have a great relationship with both of them. But when I was a little kid, anytime they would call my mom to like complain about me or tell me like, well, I already know I'm getting my ass kicked, so guess who's getting punched now while we're here? So I would then hit my sisters. I mean, I wouldn't beat the crap out of them to put marks on them, but like just whatever, like throw something at them because they're throwing shit at me. So that's everything. Like I said, everything like when I was 14, that's when the hitting stopped in my house. That's when it was done. So yes, pre-14, I would hit my sisters. Yeah, I'm not in the face or anything because that would really get me in trouble.
At a young age, Raymond learned that leaving visible marks when beating a female would get him in big trouble.
But yeah, I would punch him. You know, I'm like, fuck, if I'm going down, I had that attitude a lot with I'm like, all right, if I'm already in trouble, let's get my money's worth.
Let's get my money's worth, says Raymond, to justify beating his sisters. He is a monster. Section 6. Raymond was a horny little pest.
I remember like being in my, because again, I grew up in a house with only 2 bedrooms. So I had a bedroom I shared with my sisters, and then my parents had a bedroom, and I would just watch Steve in my parents' bedroom a lot just because like it's my own, because I had the room to myself. And I remember like I'd go through your parents' drawer. I would go through, I never went through my mom's drawers.
A survey of qualified experts indicated that virtually no one believes Raymond's claims that he never went through his mother's drawers.
But I would go through my dad's drawers. That's where he had guns and stuff. Also, like in his drawers where we would get our lunch money. He had like a thing of singles, and we would take 3 singles every day. You get $3 for lunch. So like that's where we go get our lunch money. But I remember seeing like a VHS tape, and I just popped it in once. And I remember, so I'm like in like maybe like 5th grade. It's like people having sex. And at first I thought it was my fucking mom and dad. I was like, what the? I'm like, am I watching my parents go to town? Like, it's like, what did they? And then I'm like, oh no. And like I realized, oh no, that's not my parents. But it was, yeah, I didn't even know what porn was.
Raymond's perennial excuse. I didn't even know what that was. Only a slow could think people actually believe this line.
First time I saw a porn thing in my dad's drawer, I thought I was watching my parents go out. I was like, is that my, like, it was the most disgusting thing. I was like, what? So I remember like not even wanting to watch it. I remember like, I don't know why I put it in there, what I thought it would be. Like in my head, I thought it might've been, but then I thought it was my parents because it like wasn't the greatest. And then it's like, oh no. And then it's like, I immediately was like, oh, you know, I don't know, maybe because like the only adults you know then when you're a kid are your parents. So you don't want to see people having sex. You just assume it's your parents. So that's like the grossest thing you could imagine. You're just like, oh, God damn it. But yeah, for a second there, I thought it was my parents on the fucking tape. And I was like, this is disgusting. This is,
But there's 2 bedrooms. My sisters and I shared one. We had a living room and then like my parents' bedroom. So I would watch TV in my parents' bedroom sometimes, whatever. And I went through my dad's drawers because you do, whatever. I never went through my mom's drawers, but for some reason my dad's like, he's a dude, I'm a dude. I could go through his drawers. I don't know. But there was a tape, a VHS tape, and I put it in, and it's people having sex. It's like, it's a porno tape, a VHS. And then I took it to my buddy's place, and I was like, yeah, because I was like, yeah, I got a porno tape. And then put it in, realized like a few minutes in, it's just my parents having sex when they were younger.
That's not traumatizing at all.
Yeah. And then what's more disturbing is it took my buddy to point it out to me before I realized. I'm like, isn't that your? Oh shit! Like
Hey.
that wasn't like because I didn't care about porn. Like I didn't. I was like, they'll just think I'm cool if I have that. And then my one buddy had to point out, isn't that your? I was like, oh shit! Like
Raymond claims he did not know he was showing his friend a pornographic VHS tape of his own parents engaged in carnal acts. Extremely doubtful.
And I remember recording that video because Tanya Katane, like half naked, dancing over the top of cars. She was so gorgeous. And I recorded that. Young little Ray used to go to town on throw pillows to that video.
Disgusting.
I used to hump throw pillows as a kid.
Yeah, but because of that, because I shared a bedroom with my two sisters until I was like 14, then I got my own, it's like an extension room of the house. I had no heat in my room or anything, but it was just like I can masturbate in there. And but I used to have to masturbate on the toilet. There was no other
on the toilet that everybody shares.
I shared a bedroom with my sisters, so when my parents were at work, I would have to quickly try to do it in my parents' room if I was going to while they were at work. So my sisters would, I'd be like, I'm in there watching TV, and then I would have to be like, and that was also at the time, you don't really know what you're doing as a kid. Nothing But Air would come out, if you remember. I don't know, the boys remember.
No.
Yeah, Nothing But Air.
No, I do not
Ray.
remember Air coming out.
It was Air. Nothing would, it would just feel good. And then one day you're like, whoa, it was Air. You don't remember doing that as a little kid? It just felt good. You'd feel that tingling sensation. You didn't know what you're doing. It just felt good to like hump a throw pillow. And the next thing you know, you're like, suddenly you were done humping a throw pillow. You didn't know why. And like nothing came out of you. You're just a kid. But then one day when you're like 12 or something and you're doing it and you're like, what the hell is this shit?
Mm-hmm.
The hell is this? No, it would just like tingle, and then but nothing would come out because you're a kid. So nothing would come out of you.
Sorry.
And sometimes you do it, you're not even fucking watching anything. You're just like, this just feels amazing humping this pillow.
For how many years did his family endure these vile and grotesque displays?
They built a bedroom for me because my sisters are like, he spends a lot of time in his. I didn't know I was masturbating because when I was a kid, nothing comes out of your penis when you're like 10 or 11. I just know it felt good. So I'm just like rubbing it all the time.
Did you go like this?
No, I do it. I like rub it with a pillow and everything. I had like a light sword. I'm like, I was into it. It was fun. It was good times. I didn't know I was masturbating to the point that my sisters would go over to me while I was in bed and be like, what the hell are you doing? And I'm like, leave me alone. So they built me a little attachment on the back, like a little outhouse, to the point that I didn't have air conditioning or heating in the room that I slept. So like,
You were masturbating, so they put you in the doghouse outside?
that's basically, yes. I the more I talk about it, the more I realize my parents did not love me at all. I would just like hump throw pillows. And I was like, this is like, and you just like feel it and you're like, this is great. And then you're like, and then the sensation was like over. You just knew I couldn't like hump the pillow anymore. It was just done. Apparently, I'm the only one in this house that appreciates all these throw pillows. Just go to town hundreds of times. Nothing but air would come out. Nothing but air. And then one day there's a mess. I would print out porn and then take it out of the printer. And then I would jerk off to it in my room.
Why do you just draw a fucking picture?
I would do it. I would literally
Draw a
like
figure with
print it
tits.
out.
Wait, you
And then-
wait for the printer to print it?
Yes, it would print it out and I would like save the fucking colored photos. And then I would take them back and jerk off, like back to my bedroom.
That's crazy, man.
I would do that, dude. I promise you, I'm not the only
Yeah,
one.
but you didn't have your own room. So what would your sister say?
No, I had my own room back then. I had my own room at that time. I had that back bedroom. So like I had to like walk through my
bedroom. You know the one.
Yeah. So I had to walk through my sister's room because my parents had that extension bedroom.
Oh, right.
It wasn't
I
a bedroom,
remember.
just an extension room. I'd literally have to walk through it and I'd be like, what'd you print out? Or I'm like, nothing. And I would just have printouts of like naked women on these sheets of paper.
That's so
But
fucking weird.
No, we had a nice house. We had nice furniture and shit. Like, yeah, we did have nice furniture. We had a lazy boy
You have
chair.
nice furniture when you have 2 fucking rooms in your house, right?
No, because then my parents bought the whole house. So I lived upstairs and my sisters lived upstairs and everyone had their own bedroom like later. Like that's what happened like later on, like after like 17. But before that, we lived just on the downstairs and my parents were in a bedroom. My sisters were in another bedroom. And then I was like in this little out bedroom. So
Like a shed, like a tool shed.
no, it was kind of like a porch, an extra room. It was good. It was good to be out there. I had a kerosene heater. I had like a wall air
It
conditioner.
wasn't tied in with the heat of the house.
No,
I
but
bet
it was.
that fucker was hot in the summer, wasn't it?
No, that's the thing. if it was summer and it was too hot, I would just sleep in the living room next to the air conditioner.
Okay.
So
All right.
like,
but it wasn't
so
tied
it wasn't.
in. So this little room off to the side of the house wasn't tied in with the HVAC. Did it have electricity that didn't come from an extension cord?
It was an extension of my sister's bedroom, because it used to be my sister's and my bedroom, and then like I became 11 and started touching. Like they're like, all right, he's going to be a teenage boy. Let's separate him from which. Well, I used to masturbate in my parents' bedroom when I first started. That's what I would do. That's
so your parents.
No, because I had to share a bedroom. It makes
your parents built a whole room off to the side of the house so that you did not sexually assault members of your own family.
No, shut up. No, stop. You're gone. All right. No. There was. I've said this on my last podcast. So I shared a bedroom with my two sisters till like 5th, 6th grade, and then after that, like we had my own. I had my own, but before I even knew what masturbation was, like I would just like, I would watch TV in my parents' bedroom. So like if I was going to masturbate, which I did not do, I would have done it in my parents' bedroom. I wouldn't have done it, or I would have done it on the toilet. But
I didn't know I was masturbating to the point that my sisters would go over to me while I was in bed and be like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I'm like, "Leave me alone."
Yeah, so I would watch TV in my parents' bedroom, and which is normal because that's the only other TV. Living room had a TV, and so I would hang out in there all the time.
Cameron was never again invited to be on Rock Bottom Podcast. Raymond is allegedly a comedian who writes jokes with a pen that he picks up while sitting at the grown-ups table with thick skin, and he doesn't give a fuck. For Cameron to be blacklisted, he must have really hit a nerve with his question. Chapter 3. Tormentor of Sisters.
I think that's kind of a little bit why I resent my sisters a little bit, because they look at me the same way my mom did when I was a kid. They still look at me as like I'm that person, like I'm that kid that's like always in trouble or something. And that goes back to my mom. That just made me more upset with my mom, that my mom allowed my sisters to look down at me like I was a piece of shit.
But the only thing that disappoints me is both my sisters kind of still view me the same way my mom viewed me when I was a kid. That's the only thing that still hurts, is because I still get that. I still get that from my two sisters.
I hate that my mom allowed my sisters to look down on me. Like, that's the only thing that I have a problem with. But I don't like that my mom like didn't make her kids like have to be nice to each other. She was like, all right, they hate each other, whatever. Like, I don't like that. Yeah, I also don't like people that just never do agree with you too. That's also annoying as shit. Or everything's a bad, like, Jesus Christ.
Well, that's what it is. You don't want to
My sisters are like that. Like everything, no matter what I say, they're they got a little bit of my mom in them, where whatever I say, they gotta say the opposite to like combat it.
So I see my sisters picking up my mom's mentality towards me, how I think they look at me the way my mom used to look at me when I was a kid.
My parents gave a shit about me, but my sisters are like, yeah, they can get, you know, so I'm used to people shitting on me. Like I said, I think there's not that, I mean, there's a lot of people in my family that, you know, like me or like love me growing up. That's why I loved hanging. Like my sisters didn't give a shit about me. They never did. Neither one of them did. And I think they saw my mom not giving a shit about me. So like, they like also realized like, oh, we shouldn't like, and it's not on them. Cause when you're a little kid and you see you can get in a fight with your sibling and it's always going to be the other sibling's fault. Like they don't know any better. They're like little kids, but like now, okay, you know, now they're in their 50s and 40s. It's like, all right, you could change. You could change it. You know, in fact, they never grew out of that. Where like everything's like my brother-in-laws are great. I get along great with my brother-in-law, but yeah, my sisters never gave a fucking shit about me at all. It's just, yeah, it's just they never evolved, and it's fine. And I think that's why like I'm fine with cutting people out of my life like quickly. It's like, all right, dude, all right, you don't give a shit about me, fuck. Well, both my parents were dead by the time I was 30, so I have no family. Okay. That's all I have is my 2 sisters. The way my sister like still fucking looks down on me is fucking not cool at all. And it's like, and that's all because of my mom's fault. Like the fact that my mom allowed that to fucking happen is not fucking cool.
Section 1. Raymond's disdain for his sisters.
The only thing I'm mad about is the fact that it allowed my sisters to still look at me in that capacity. That's the only thing that I'm upset about, is that my sisters still think they can like kind of look down on me. And it's like, I'm the only one out of us to graduate from college. I'm the only one, like, I've had the best financial year out of any of us. I've done things with my life. I've created things. You guys both married well. So you're looking down at who? Who?
Raymond spends his days jerking off to pornography, menacing people at Planet Fitness, stealing milk from Panera, and receiving pity gifts of clothing and hotel rooms from older men. He somehow believes that having a shitty, forgettable stand-up act makes him superior to his sisters, who have dedicated their lives to raising their own children.
They're living really nice. Yeah, both my sisters. But then both my sisters' husbands have really good jobs. My sisters don't really do anything. They're just like moms. I'm the only one to ever graduate from college. I got an MBA. You two didn't. I'm the only one that's ever like had a real job at any point. They're both like housewives. My sisters are my one sister 2 years older, the other one 2 years younger, and they're just like housewives or whatever. Like, and I see them like, oh, now that I'm back in Ohio a bunch, like if I hang out with like, and I just see these people in suburban America and I'm like, I want nothing to do. I like my brother-in-laws. They're great people, but like, you know, for them to think they're funny or one of them is they just repeat a popular line in a movie.
It's fucking, it's like a womb. It's all polluted.
Shika had no kids, man. His wife's womb is not all polluted. She could have kids.
What do you got to say, man? She can't have no kids. Her womb is all polluted.
Fuck me, Tony. Fuck me.
She can't have no fucking kids, man. Her womb is all polluted.
Fuck me, Tony. No, you want to fuck me, Tony. Fuck it. I can't fuck her, man. Her womb is all polluted.
My sisters have no sense of humor whatsoever. Like, it's also, like, not fun hanging, like to them, the sense of humor is like repeating lines that you heard in the movie Wedding Crashers or something.
Say hello to the bad guy. Her womb is all polluted, man. You need bad guys like me so you can point your fingers and say, there goes the bad guy. Say hello to the bad guy.
She can't have no fucking kids, man. Like, you know, like that's what's funny. Like, you know, like, oh, that's what she said. Ha ha ha. Like, that's a joke to them. Like, hey, he's the funny guy. He just repeated something that was in Happy Gilmore or something. Like, to them, that's what's funny. And it's like.
You recently went home, Ray DeVito, right?
Yeah.
To Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
And you were having trouble with your sister.
Yeah, this was horrible. This was totally the worst. I'm headlining the comedy club there June 2nd through the 7th. So my sister, they knew I was coming. They already knew I was coming. And then my sister texted me like a week before, and she's like, hey, when are you coming home? And I go, I'll be there June 2nd through the 7th. She texts back, great, which I'm like, well, maybe this is her kid that has a phone. My sister would never be that enthusiastic about it. And then the next text a second later is because you got a bunch of shit in the basement and you don't grab it, I'm tossing it. So it's like, all right, clearly my sister. So they know I'm coming home. All right, so a few days later.
2 sisters?
Yeah. But it's the one that I stay with. The other one I can't stay with. She's like kind of far away. And what's over there? Baseball cards? Yeah, it's just a bunch of crap. Okay. So I'm driving that night, and I'm like, yeah, I'll get in about 3 a.m. My sister's like, oh, you're coming home now? Well, you can't stay here.
Like at all?
And, yeah, so I text back. I go, oh, I'll just stay at my parents. Oops, I can't. They're both dead. So I get there. I sleep on the couch. I get up the next day, and I do the radio show in Cleveland. So anyways, I'm on the radio show, and I get a text message from my brother-in-law, whose couch I had just slept on. And he's like, oh, hey, man, I didn't know you were in town. You should give a heads up. Oh, you mean my sister didn't tell you? Like, that's the communication skills? Like, he's got 4 small children upstairs. If he sees a stranger sleeping on the couch, who can blame him if he, like, Louisville Sluggers me in the head? Like, he's totally allowed to do that. So she didn't even tell him about it. Like, no communication. They could care less about me.
The slow thinks nothing of showing up at 3 in the morning, waking up his sister, her husband, and her 4 small children.
But my sisters, I don't know what it is. I don't know why they're such a pain in the ass to me. Like,
There was never like a thing that happened.
nah, I'm just a huge bother to them, and it's really upsetting.
I'm just saying, like, even if one of my siblings died, like I'm the middle child. I got 2 sisters. Even if one of them died, what do you like? I'm the youngest sibling now.
Raymond views the potential death of a sister as a promotion opportunity.
Yeah, and by the way, my family will never see because they don't go to comedy shows. It's hilarious. My godparents go, "Hey, it's like, oh, we're going to Hilarities." I was out of town. I was working. Who did they go see? Not Louis Black. Louis Black was at Hilarities. So my godfather took my sisters and my brother-in-laws to like, oh, you should go there. It's like motherfuckers. I work there once a month. I'm there tonight. I'm with Big J Okerson. But it's like, wait a minute, I'm there all the time. You guys never go to shows. You've never been to one of my comedy shows. And this is like, they all got together and went to go watch Louis Black. Yeah, they've never been to one of my comedy shows. I could talk about them all day. They have no fucking idea. Which of my Dry Bar special comes out? There's a lot of shit about my nieces and nephews and my sisters. If they watch it, it's a lot of it. There's a lot of
That's hilarious. So your Dry Bar special is get back at your nieces and nephews.
No, it's more aimed at my sisters. My therapist says, like, because of that, when you're like the black sheep of a family, your siblings either one of 2 ways. Either they like stand up for the sibling, like, all right, this is unnecessary, like, or they take the side of that parent, like, oh yeah, this guy's a fuck up. This guy's so like I've always had that from my sisters. Like they think they're better, even though none of them have ever done shit other than be married to guys at work.
Oh wow.
But, like I've always, you know what I mean? Like they've never been to a comedy show of mine. They've never given a shit in other regards.
None of the sisters?
What? No, neither of them. My brother-in-laws love me, but my sisters love me because I'm their brother. But like, yeah, my therapist is like, you don't have to talk to them about real shit. Like my sisters have never been to a show of mine. They don't give a like
dicks.
They don't give a shit. Both my parents are dead, but my sisters have always looked at me as like my therapist has told me like they just look at you as like you were the black sheep in the house growing up. They still like kind of have that outlook towards me. My therapist is like, here's the deal. If like he related it to me like this, like, okay, you're a fan of the Cleveland Browns, right? You don't need to let your sisters know everything that's going on in your life. It's like you like the Cleveland Browns. It's not going to do them any good to invite you into the huddle. Like, this is the play we're going to run. What do you think about it? What do you like? Right. They're not helping you
at all.
Do that play. So who gives a shit? That has nothing to do with them. You don't need to say anything to them. Like just. Yeah, because like I have an anxiety disorder, so sometimes like my sisters like all they do is like the negative energy about whatever. They don't know what's going on in my life. They don't know. Like I've been on TV. They've never even watched this shit. You get what I'm saying? Like I want to.
It sounds to me like you got a lot of pent up fucking frustration about it, right?
Because now that I'm in Cleveland, and I'll see my 2 sisters from time to time. By the way, my therapist won't let me talk to them about anything. He's like, no, that's not good for your mind. Just because they're naysayers about everything, they like, you just say whatever, and they point out what they think the worst scenario is, and let's just drill you on that. So all they do is just create more anxiety.
Invite your whole family out to the show and say you're doing a real big show. It's a real big night for you.
No, they don't go to any of my shows. Like they never did. They didn't give 2 shits. Yeah, they can give 2 fucking shits.
Oh, no, you know what? Actually, this is the good guilt them. Be like, hey, you took my inheritance money. The least you can do is come out to this big show I'm doing. And then the whole show is about them fucking you over.
Yeah. Like I was fat. My sister would call me Pillsbury Dough Ray.
Oh.
Doughboy.
Shit.
But she has psoriasis.
Oh.
She had on her leg, so I would always say she had a disease. So I think that
literally.
Yeah. But I think that was like worse to be like, oh, you got a disease. Look at my sister's disease.
Section 2. an unrelenting burden. After Raymond's 2018 reckless driving accident and his 2020 DUI arrest, he burdened his sisters with taking care of him.
My sisters are just cold. It has nothing to do with me. When I almost died in the car accident, my sister was at the hospital, and I go, first thing she says to me when I wake up, she's like, why am I your emergency contact? I got my own family to worry about. That's the coldest shit you can hear from your only family members. In fact, when they did pick me up from the police station after that accident, and I remember the cop telling my sister that your brother's on narcotics. And the first thing I hear out of my sister's mouth, oh my God, my brother does narcotics? Not even.
Like it's exciting?
No. Like she's like, just assume, like, of course he's on narcotics. More like, of course he is. Oh my God, I knew he'd be on narcotics. Yeah, it was a couple years ago. But it was just stressful. But like, my sisters got their own families, they got kids, and like that's one thing that like upset. My sister said to me, she's like, doesn't realize how hurtful this is. Like, why am I your emergency contact? I got my own family to worry about. And it's like, wow. I'm like, you are my only family. I only have 2 relatives, and it's my 2 sisters. What do you want me to do? John, my neighbor, he's my emergency contact. Like, I know you live next door to me. You're now my emergency contact. But like my sister not knowing how hurtful that is, like she said it because she was annoyed.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's like, put yourself in my shoes. I only have 2 family members. And that's, you can't say anything more hurtful at this moment than, why am I your emergency contact? Like, if I die, like, or if I get sick, like, so what? Like, so be it. Like, I'm not part of your family. And then, like, because I got in a car accident in Pennsylvania and almost died, as you guys know from previous episodes. And she's my emergency contact. She showed up to that hospital and she goes, why am I here? I got my real family to worry about. So why am I here? I got my real family to worry about. I can't be dealing with this. Essentially what she was saying when I was in a car accident and almost died. That hurt like a motherfucker. And I got in a car accident. I had no idea what's going on. I almost died. I got hit by a semi.
Yeah, a semi and I hit, and the semi didn't even stop. He didn't even notice.
And my sister is sitting in the hospital with me. I don't know what's going on. She's like, why am I your emergency contact? I have my own family to worry about. And it's like, that hurt like a motherfucker. Like, that hurt. And yeah, like that hurt. And then now knowing that I gave my inheritance to her kids on top of it, it's like, no, I am your family. I'm sorry. I mean, grandfathered in is a clause. You need to worry about it. You should be worried, and you should want to. I've always had as good a relationship with my sisters as I can. My siblings hate me.
Your sisters, right?
Yeah, they don't hate me. They don't give 2 shits about me.
How does that manifest itself? Like, what do you mean? What evidence do you have? What examples do you have of your sisters not giving a shit about you?
They don't care about it. It's fine. I don't care.
Even in your various medical maladies, is that a word, over the years?
Could care less.
They weren't there standing by your side?
No. I was in the ER, and the doctor's like, my one sister is my emergency contact. And he goes, all right, well, he's like, he's got to stay with family. And he went to my sister, that's my emergency contact. And she goes, well, we already have our own family. You can't stay here. Yeah. That's why I'm like, I'm not going to live. Like, I get in car, like my sister was like, how are you not dead? Like every time, like, how are you not dead? My sister's mad at me. I'm not dead. It's like, how are you not dead? Every time we get in a car accident, it's like, because she's my emergency, which also hurt when I'm like, just got hit by the semi truck.
Yeah, a semi and I hit each other. He kept going, so it's just me. My car's totaled.
Oh, the semi kept going? Like it was a hit and run?
The semi didn't even stop. No, we like hit sides.
Just got hit by the semi truck. When she showed up in the emergency room, it's like, why am I your emergency contact? I got my own family. It's like the most fucking hurtful thing you could say to someone that just woke up out of being fucking in a coma.
This is a lie. Raymond was not in a coma.
Not a cool thing. Just my opinion. I like how I'm the only one that got hit by a truck or a semi, and then semi took off. Tracy Morgan had stopped for, and I got hit in the middle of Pennsylvania by a semi, and it just drove off. And I'm just fucking left in a fucking coma.
But the cop gave me a ticket for not cooperating. The cop gave me a ticket because he was telling me to stay in the car, and I climbed out the sunroof and started walking around on I-80, and he's yelling at me, and
yeah, that seems dangerous.
Yeah, and he gave me a ticket.
But you obviously would you have a concussion? You were uncooperative, Ray.
My sister shows up in the first. Why am I your emergency contact? Welcome to my fucking life.
Never hired a lawyer before. My sister's hired a lawyer. I mean, they used my money because I have a joint account with my sister, and they hired a lawyer.
My car accident, not knowing what happened, I just woke up in an ambulance for a second, and then I woke up in the hospital, and my sister being next to me, being like, "Why am I your emergency contact? I have my own family." And that was the first thing that's the first thing I fucking heard. And it was like, ouch. It was somewhere in Altoona, Pennsylvania, whatever hospital is there. But I don't remember what happened. I just woke up. I woke up in the ER with my sister standing next to me going, "I have my own family. Why am I your emergency contact?" That was the first thing that was said to me when I regained consciousness.
I look at it like this, like, yeah, that's my same sister who, when I was in a car accident in the ER, I had no idea what happened. And when she showed up to the hospital, she goes, "Why am I your emergency contact? I have my own family to worry about." And it's like,
where is she in the lineup? What is she?
It's like, go fuck yourself. My sister's can be cold. They both can be cold.
Hold on. The one you're speaking of, is she the firstborn? What is she?
No, she's 2 years younger than me. It's not.
You got a choice to make. She did her shit, right? She chose her move. You've got to choose what you're going to do next. Are you going to let this eat you alive?
No, I'm just mad at my sister. It's like, if she's going to be this heartless, which I've seen her be heartless with me. Like, I almost died in a car accident. She shows up and says, "Why am I emergency contact? I have my own family to worry about." So yeah, it's just a bummer. That's all. I'm just bummed.
How long has she been married?
Who? What?
Your sister. She's married?
Yeah, both of my sisters are married.
Okay. How long has the cunt been married? The cunt sister.
She married my high school locker partner. She married one of my best friends.
Fascinating.
Yeah, no, he's a great guy. It's Tom. He's awesome. When I got in a car accident, he's like, "Hey, if you want, come back, live with us in Ohio." My sister, not that I wanted to, I was just fucking unconscious. My sister's like, "Wait, you can't, but why are you coming into our lives? Why am I even your emergency contact?" So yeah, my sister, she's in her own world, and yeah.
Did she change when she married him?
What?
Did she?
No, she's always been, what do you call it? Yeah.
Cunty?
Self-absorbed.
Since the death of his father, Raymond has burdened his sisters with storing his worthless trash in their homes, demanding use of their vehicles, and even providing him with luggage.
Is that your modern furniture behind you in your doll collection?
No, that's the guy who I stay with. That's his dresser. So I will have to it's at my sister's place, but I do have a dresser. But
I gotta go to my sister's place to get my Star Wars toys.
I want my dad's bed.
Raymond has a strong emotional attachment to a mattress that his father used to jerk off on. Being a vagrant, Raymond has no place to keep his father's mattress, so he expects his sisters to provide storage when he demands it.
But they already have a bed, but I'm going to put this at my sister's place. They can have the mattress. But the bed I'd probably put at my sister's place. I'm not going to put it, because I don't need a bed there. So I'll put it in their basement or something. But where is the mattress going? It's not coming with me. It's going to my aunt's basement, which caused a rift in my family. Because my aunt's like, it's like, yeah, you could put it in our basement. It's like, but where did you get it from? I go, from my sister's basement. It's like, why can't it go back in her basement? You would think.
No one, except Raymond, would expect their siblings to provide free storage on demand into their 50s.
You would think that would be logical. It came from that basement. Why couldn't it not go? Because my sister's got to make everything difficult.
Because he is a slow, Raymond believes it is his sisters who make things difficult.
That's why I can't go back in that basement. But my sisters still view me as that person that was like the least important person in the house. And they still treat me like that to this very day. And it irks me. It irks me. And I'm moving in with family friends. I said that they're my parents' friends, but they're my family friends too. I think that's also one of the reasons why my sisters have to help me move in, because they know my sisters well. So if my sisters don't help me move in, they're going to be like, where the hell are they? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, don't they have SUVs and trucks? I'm like, yes, they do. Yes, they do. As I try to pile everything up in my Honda Civic, and it's not even that far away. So it's like, it's not that big of a deal.
You haven't moved in there yet?
Of course. They're nice. No, I think Wednesday's the day I'm borrowing my sister's SUV and making some trips. My sister's been a pain in the ass. I got to do something with this mattress, my dad's mattress and box springs. And it's nice, but they have a bed there. So I got it from my fucking sister's basement. So I'm like, okay, I just got to put it back in their basement. Like, there's no room. There was fucking room there a year ago when I fucking got it out of the basement. How's there not fucking room? Because I'm going to need it at some point. So
what?
It's not the
your dad's
mattress back.
Your dad's haunted bed.
Maybe bring it with you and stand it up in the room.
That's what I'm thinking. But my sisters are pain in the asses.
But isn't she doing you a lot of favors?
I'm just borrowing her SUV. My brother-in-laws are, they're a lot nicer to me than my sisters. A lot nicer. Even I was just moving furniture. My aunt's like, yeah, here, come to our basement. And then when it looked like it wasn't going to fit, my cousin's like, okay, bring it over to our place or whatever. My sisters who live right next to that place that I was just moving all the stuff, like, what? No, never mind. You have a giant house, but okay. You have no room for a box spring. Okay, whatever. I got it. All right. But yeah, I hear you. It is disappointing, but it is what it is, man. And you know what? And that's why, that's been my whole approach through life. I assume no one gives a shit about me because my family didn't give a shit about me. So I assume no one gives a shit about me. I assume I'm very expendable, So I'll borrow my sister's suitcase if I'm going to need a suitcase.
Section 3. Raymond accuses his sisters of stealing his inheritance.
I bet you're great around kids, Ray.
I'm great around everybody. I'm nice.
Not to turn this into a weird conversation, but do you have any nieces or nephews?
Yeah, my nieces and nephews love me. They should love me. They have all my fucking inheritance money. They got all of it. My sisters gave it to them. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they should love me.
I thought you were going to say your Star Wars toys, but nope. The inheritance.
Yeah. As you guys know, my uncle Wiki passed away. He was in hospice for a couple weeks. You guys heard me talk about he was on hospice. He was in hospice for a couple weeks, and tomorrow's his funeral. I haven't gone to his funeral yet, and his funeral's tomorrow. It's a mass. He died like 2 weeks ago, and I went to go see him. I went to see my uncle Wiki, and it was great. He was lucid, and my sisters never wanted to see him. But he was telling me while we're sitting there talking, and he's like, the one thing about your dad, because my mom died a couple years earlier, and he got big life insurance things. Like, he was worried about you, just want to make sure he take care of you. And then, as you guys know, my uncle Wiki thought I got like 100,000 or something. Thought I got something. He's like, yeah, at least you. And I was like, I didn't say anything to him. He's in hospital. He's just trying to talk highly about my dad. Like, my dad felt guilty that my mom died young, and then he had this money. And he's like, well, it's all right. At least my, take care of my kids, my two sisters. They got 2 successful husbands and stuff. But Ray, it'd be good for him, or whatever. And then I ended up. Here's the deal. So I found this out because I was looking into it. Because if you remember on that episode, I was like, all right, well, let me look at when my father died. Turns out he didn't have as much money as my uncle Wiki thought he did. Because I'm like, I got like 1/3 of what you're saying I was supposed to. I didn't say that to him. He's dying in front of me. He just meant it like, hey, I love my brother. He was always happy he could take care of his family. And that's what made him proud. Obviously he didn't enjoy that he felt guilty. He got all this money without your mom. And I'm sitting there like, what money did he have? He didn't have money. So anyways, so it turns out the will thing was that $25,000 go to all the grandchildren. And then the 3 kids, me and my 2 sisters, split the rest. Well, here's what happened. When my dad died, there were still only 3 grandkids. But a couple years later, when the will was finally settled, he had 2 more grandchildren, and my brother-in-law was in charge of the will, grandfathered them in to get 25, which they weren't in the original will, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with, but like I noticed that, and I was like, oh wow, I didn't realize like that wasn't. And here's the deal: if my sister and brother-in-laws would have said to me like, hey, you know, when he died, there was this, but there's 2 new grandchildren, let's include them, I wouldn't have been like, no. I was like, all right, yeah, I mean, sure. Like it never occurred to me. But what happened is that was the lion's share of the will. So we didn't. Who gives a shit? All right, that is what it is. All right, so that is what it is. So I go to my sister's place in Strongsville like a week ago, and I wanted to let her know, like I was disappointed she did not go see my Uncle Wiki. I was very disappointed because here's the deal. I don't have any kids. So let's say I'm in my Uncle Wiki's position. Yeah, my nieces and nephews, like that's our dad's brother. How are you not going to see your dad's brother? So if I die, or if I get sick, like, so what? Like, so be it. Like, I'm not part of your family. I gave up my inheritance to your children. Like, I gave up my inheritance. So like we were sitting around, and I meant this jokingly because those kids are not in the will. They're not in the will. My father's will was done, and then my sisters decided to do, and I wouldn't have said no. So whatever. But I'm just saying, I'm putting like, wait a minute, I gave up my inheritance to your children. So they're my nieces and nephews. So if I'm in that, you are Uncle Wiki's niece. So if I'm in that position, then no, you should go see him. Like, if I'm ever in that position, oh no, the things I've done already for my nieces and nephews, like you better talk to your children and let them know I'm a great fucking person. I gave them my inheritance. Like that's what I did. So yeah, that was I gave them part of my inheritance, which I'm fine doing. I'm fine with that. So yeah, so I'm like, all right, I gave up my inheritance to these kids. They better fucking love me. But yeah, that's letting you know what I'm dealing with. Like that was like, wait a minute. Like I was being honest about, no, if something happens to me, my nieces and nephews better be there. And you better talk fucking highly about me to them because I gave them my inheritance. So they better fucking be there supporting, like, yeah. So like
Ray got nothing. Both his family, his mother and father died, and he got $10,000.
Yeah, my sisters wrote me out of the. They gave all the money.
How did they write you out of the will? They cut you a deal?
No. When my dad died, there was only 3 grandchildren, and then after he died, there were 2 more grandchildren that were born. So what my sisters did.
Wait, weren't you a grandchild too? Because you only got a grand.
Yeah. That does make me. So what they did is instead of dispersing the money, what you're supposed to do is disperse the money between everybody. They kept the kids' money where it was at, added in the 2 new kids, kept it where the other ones were. And so the only money came out of mine and my sisters. The thing is, my sisters are the ones with all the kids. So more money went into their families and their family. So they didn't mind like it coming out of theirs because it stayed in their family, where I'm the one that got hit because I didn't have any kids. So
you got less money because your sisters were whores? Yeah. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah. So instead of and then I talked to a lawyer, and like I could have fought it, but I'm like, I don't want to fight it. I have no family. And then I almost died in a car accident. And they're like, no way, he's not our family. Yeah, I'm their family. Yeah, I'm their family when it comes to taking my inheritance. I was like, your family, of course you wouldn't mind this. This is what families do. But then the second I almost died, it's like, what? We have our own families. He's not our family. So that's what, yeah. My dad died. My brother-in-law handled the will and then took my inheritance and gave it to unborn grandchildren that existed like years later. Like, yeah. So it's yeah. So, and my sister's being there. I'm like, well, I can't worry about him. He's not our problem. We have our own family. It's like, wait a minute. You didn't mind taking all my inheritance money and giving it to your children without asking me. Like, I like how we're family when it's like, wait a minute. You didn't mind doing that. We were family then when you took my inheritance money and just gave it to you didn't take the grandchildren that already existed and took their money and gave it to By the way, I got my dad's. I'm not wearing it now, but I got my dad's. No, my dad's dead, and I got his pinky rings. So I was, out of respect for my dad, I'm gonna start wearing his pinky ring.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, where did you get these rings from? Where were they?
My sister's house. They didn't give me any of his stuff. Like when my parents died, my sister split up their stuff, and I didn't get anything.
Is it because you're adopted?
Reading between the lines, it is clear that Raymond made zero effort to participate in handling his father's physical estate. Too busy opening for hypnotists and doing open mic shows for $0. Yet he has the nerve to be upset he didn't get the things he wanted.
Well, also, I mean, I lived in New York City, so I mean, what was I going to do with stuff?
A ring? They couldn't send you a
I know, that's what I say. I would like to have my dad's wedding ring just to have it. And
yeah.
Here's the deal, because like I'm buying them gift certificates at restaurants, like high-end restaurants, for like the family, for them and their family.
Oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I want to be like, listen, you gave my inheritance to your children. I'm not buying them gifts. Like you gave my inheritance to your kids. Here you go. Here's your family. I'm gonna get another beer. No, it's not my niece's fault. That's my sister's fault.
What?
No, my sister.
It's like cheated you out of your mom and dad.
It's fine. It's fine.
Section 4. Raymond does a favor for his sister by moving out.
Because I'm in my sister's basement opening baseball cards for 12-year-olds. That is where I am.
Sounds nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I first moved back to Ohio, I stayed at my sister's place for a while, and I had to move out of there just for the fact that like I do stuff at night, and they like wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
It was weird for them because like I'd get home at weird hours. They'd have a dog and like they got to wake up at 5 a.m. and the dog would like go crazy and start barking every time I was walking around. So I'm sitting in my, which I'm moving out of this house. I was crashing with my buddy, I was staying at my sister's place, but I get home late. They wake up at 5 in the morning. Every time I'd open the door, the dog would start barking, wake up the whole house. So out of a favor to my sister, I'm like, all right, I'll go find somewhere else. So I moved back to Cleveland. I was staying at my sister's place, and then a buddy of mine, that's where I'm at right now, is he got divorced, and he had like an extra bedroom. So I was gonna, out of a favor to my sister, just because like they get up at 5 in the morning, I come home late because I'm doing shows and shit, and then every time I open the door, the dog's like starts barking, wakes up the whole house and everything. So I was like, all right.
Of course, yeah.
Well, when I first went back to Cleveland, I was staying at my sister's place, and then but they get up at like 6 in the morning, and they have a dog, and I'm Middle America opened up before New York City did, so I was just staying there. But I'm out doing comedy. If I get in there after 11:30, the dog starts barking, wakes up the whole household. So like out of a favor to them, I was like, I'll just stay at my buddy's place. So like I did. I don't know where I'm gonna, but for the holidays, I'll be at my sister's place.
So you think it would be easy, but yeah, my aunt's gonna help me out. Of course, that's the way it always is with my family. I told you, my sisters treat me the way my mom used to treat me. They still look at me the way my mom.
Section 5. Raymond pissed in the hallway.
Wayne Newton at your service, and I have a special song for you because we're a musical, and it's a special song about Ray pissing in the hallway. Here goes.
Okay.
It was Thanksgiving Day, and Ray got a little drunk, And he said to his sister, you treated me like the outside mister, so I'm kissing in the hallway. I'm kissing in the hallway. 'Cause the toilet is too far away, and I'm pissing in the hallway, and you're gonna have to clean it up 'cause it's your house. I'm pissing in the hallway. I'm pissing in the hallway. I'd piss on the porch, but it's too cold. I'm pissing in the hallway.
When I was living at my sister's place, the dog peed in the hall. My niece is like, I think Uncle Ray peed in the hallway. It's like, really upset me. It really upset me that was like a fucking thing. Which sister accused you of pissing in the hallway? My sister never accused. It was my older sister when I was at her house, and it was my niece when it was clearly the dog. But it really upset me that my sister, knowing it was a dog, was like, well, why didn't you just, like, what's the big deal? I was like, because it's insulting. It's insulting. A dog peed in the hallway.
Don't pee on the floor, Ray.
Yeah, apparently that's what I do.
I'm blaming it on the dog.
It's Jesus, you fucking. If I would have peed, there would have been a giant puddle. I obviously didn't pee.
So I don't know. I see my sisters kind of carrying on with that same way that my mom, you know what I mean? Like when I moved back to Cleveland, I was staying at my sister's house for a few months, and they had an elderly dog, and it would pee and poop in the house. And then one day the dog like peed in the living room, and my niece told my mom that I urinated and like I couldn't. I was like,
how old's your niece?
16.
And so the dog peed, and your 16-year-old niece told her mom that it was you?
Yeah, my sister. And I'm like, so when my niece said, and I was like, just having a real, I was like, wait, you think, like, how low does my sister talk about me that my niece would even, like, if I was 16 and like, hey, my Uncle David, if we have a dog that sometimes, I wouldn't be like, oh, my Uncle David.
But what if it's not about her being talked to? It's not your sister talking to your daughter. What if her daughter's just like, into the chaos, just was like, I'm gonna just.
Well, here's what I think it is, because like I just moved in there and used to having that whole hot, like kind of like she's got like a sheltered life for it, which is fine. I don't hate my niece or whatever, but like it just really hurt me that, all right, two things are going on here. What is my sister saying to me about me to my niece to even think that was like a realm of possibility? And then also, like, what does my niece think about me that she thinks it's possible that I could pee in the middle of a room? It's not, I wasn't drinking there or anything. So, but that's just, I was like, this is my only family. This is what you guys think of me? Like, that's what hurt. And my sister was like upset with me. Like, why are you talking to Megan about this? Why? It's like, she thinks that it's possible that I would urinate in the middle of a room.
Also, the thing that's like the most insane thing about that fucking, now they had an old dog, and the dog would like, didn't have control of its bladder, and it would pee wherever in the house or whatever. But the thing that was insulting about that is the dog was a little dog, and it just left a little puddle of urine. So if I was to pee in a hallway, you know how massive that puddle would be, as opposed to a little fucking thing. Do you get what I'm saying? Like it makes no sense.
Even when I came back to my sister's place, like I think my sister kind of looked at me weird. Like they have a dog that it was an older dog. It would like urinate sometimes in the house or whatever. And like I just got back to my sister's place, and I was having episodes, and my niece is like, I think Uncle Ray peed in the middle. It's like, no, that's not me. It's like, how low of an opinion do you have of me?
Oh,
like,
wow, Uncle Ray peed. Oh.
Yeah, and it's like, are you serious? You think I just urinated in the middle of the room? Never mind that you have a dog that is known for urinating. Well, yeah, we'll put this on me. Yes, I just urinated in the middle of the room because that's what I do.
Kissing in the hallway, kissing in the hallway. Ray's kissing in the hallway, kissing in the hallway, kissing in the hallway. What do you think, Tukey? Ray's kissing in the hallway, kissing in the hallway. Should I kill myself yet? Ray's kissing in the hallway.
When I was living with my sister, when I went back to Ohio, when I was having seizures.
You urinated in front of your niece?
No, there's a dog.
Right.
Well, Ray was pissing in the hallway. He was pissing in the hallway. He was pissing in the hallway. He was pissing in the hallway.
That's enough. Thank you, Wayne. We're good. We're good. When I was living with my sister, when I came back to Ohio after my accident and I was having seizures, I was staying at my sister's place and they had an elderly dog that would pee in the house, and a dog peed in the hallway. And my niece thought it was me that peed in the hallway, and just the audacity to think it was. And so like that upset me that like my sister knew it was BS, but it's like, what are you saying about me that my niece would possibly think I'm urinating in the hallway? Never mind, you have a dog that's an elderly dog that urinates all over the place. But yes, it was me. Yes, I just peed in the hallway, or no, it was in the bathroom. It was in front of the sink. There was like a little dog. It looked like a dog puddle on top of it. So yeah, I did not enjoy that. I did not enjoy that. And my sister knew I didn't do it, but it was more so like, why are you making a big deal about it? It's like, what's a big deal? You have a kid that thinks her fucking uncle is capable of just peeing in the middle, like will pee in the middle of a room. What did you say about me to your children that they think that's a thing I could possibly do? So that upset me.
He's pissing in the hallway, and how much more of this song can you take? You better tip Ray, because he's pissing in the hallway. Dwayne, that's a terrible song. Well, you wrote it. He's pissing in the hallway.
The deal breaker with me, the thing that really got under my skin, that like really was they have the dog has since passed away, but they had an elderly dog, and the dog would sometimes, as dogs get older, they have trouble. They'll like pee in the house sometimes. Yeah. So there was a puddle of urine in the hallway, and my niece goes, Uncle Ray urinated in the hallway. Forget that there's a dog that's known for peeing. The fact, like, how much shit are you talking about me that my 16-year-old niece thinks I urinate in the middle of the hallway? You understand what I'm saying? And I also wasn't drinking while I was there. And so it's like, what kind of shit are you talking about me that you think I'm urinating in the middle? Like, that was the only time I boiled over.
Oh, did you say something? You confronted her?
Yeah. That's when I was like, what the fuck? Seriously?
Yeah.
Cause I'm pissing in the hallway. I'm pissing in the hallway.
Like, I was staying at my sister's place when I first came back to Cleveland, my older sister's place, and she was kind of not cool to me. So like they had a dog that would pee, and an old dog that would like urinate and defecate in the house sometimes because he like couldn't make it out. And the one time the dog urinated in the middle of the bathroom, and my niece told my mom, like, Uncle, and I'm like, no, like, it's just like, Uncle Ray did this. And then my sister's like, you need to clean up your mess. And I'm like, at first I'm thinking, all right, maybe there's some dribble on the side of the toilet or something, but no, this is like a pure, obviously a dog urinated in the middle. And just the fact that like my sister was like, the fact that my niece would even think that was possible, that I would do that, really fucking like upset me. So it makes me think in my head, like, what is my sister saying about me? Like, how are they talking about me that my niece thinks that her uncle might urinate her in the middle of a like, how low are you talking about me that they would even think that's a possibility to? So
Ray's peeing in the hallway. Ray's peeing in the hallway, and Tukey's watching like the creepy puppet that he is.
Oh, you heard about Ray in the hallway?
Yeah.
Like when I came back from New York, like the thing, like I was staying with my sister, and they had like I've talked about this on podcasts before, but they had a dog, an old dog that would like that would just pee all over the like it would pee, not all the time, but every once in a while I would just pee somewhere. So it like peed in like the hallway or something. And my niece, who's like 16, goes, she's like, Uncle Ray peed it just fucking blew my mind. And I was like, I went to my niece. I'm like, you think I would actually just urinate in the middle? Like, what are you doing? Like, and then my sister, who took my side up, was like, why didn't you just like clean it up? Who cares? Which I was like, no, how fucking low do you talk about me to your kid that she would think it was possible that I would fucking urinate in the middle of a room? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, how fucking low do you talk about me that she would think that it's fucking even possible? That really pissed me off. And it still pisses me off. Like, I mean,
Ray,
it's just not cool. It's just not a cool fucking vibe. And it's like, what the fuck are you saying? Like, just why did your kid think that that's something I would possibly fucking do? How shitty do you talk about me to your kid that you would think that that's a thing? Like, it was fucking insane. It fucking really pissed me off. Really
Ray,
pissed me off.
I need to invite you to come visit my family because they would love
and it goes back to me as a kid when my mom allowed my older sister to treat me like shit growing up. Like, my mom never made my older sister fucking look out for me. She always looked at me as like, oh, he's kind of a pest, just deal with him. Like, because my mom would talk shit about my uncles. Like, my two aunts are still married. My mom's sisters are still married to the same fucking husbands they had. The same husbands they had. But my mom would always talk shit about them when I was a little kid. And I'm like, those are my uncles. Why are you talking shit about them? Like, they're pieces of shit. And my mom would always do that. My mom didn't like men. She liked my dad, but she didn't like men. She did not like men. And she almost passed that on to my sisters. It wasn't until I was like 15 and I started being the only kid. I was the only kid that got good grades. I'm the only one that fucking left the house without needing a fucking chaperones because my sisters would not leave the house unless like they had like a team of people to go, like they were like fucking homebodies. And I'm the only one to graduate college. I'm the only one to fucking do anything with my fucking life. They just happen to marry well, but like, it's like, how shitty are you talking about me to your fucking kid that she would think that that's a thing that I would fucking urinate in the middle of a room when you have a fucking 15-year-old dog that's urinating in rooms? It fucking really pissed me off. And my sister, the fact that my sister acted like, why didn't you just go clean it up? Who cares? Which is like, fuck, what the fuck are you saying about me that she would think that that's a thing that I do? It really fucking annoyed me. And that goes back to my mom. That just made me more upset with my mom, that my mom allowed my sisters to look down at me like I was a piece of shit. That really fucking annoyed me. So,
trying to say something healing.
All right, let's be funny.
How old was the niece?
Like 15.
15!
Tracy Jane tries to put Raymond's mind at ease with a positive analysis. Raymond's anger visibly increases. The Institute strongly advises that women never attempt this with a slow. It is a mortal danger.
That's what 15-year-olds, they say shit like that. I think they're kind of trying to be funny.
No.
There could have been more to that wasn't
No, there's
just,
not.
oh, my Uncle Ray isn't,
No, I don't.
She could have been.
No, it's not cool at all. It's not cool. No, it's on my sister. It's not on my niece. That's on my sister.
You're trying to be cool around.
No, it's not. No, I'm muting you. No, it's not, Tracy. No, you don't get to. No, not at all. Not at all. You don't get to talk on this. No, I had to fucking deal with it. It wasn't a cool thing. Deadful. I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind. Skull. Oh, yeah. His mom just wanted a polite boy. Yeah.
After Raymond muted Tracy Jane, she walked off the show. Tracy did not return to the podcast for several months. Raymond blamed the viewers, Tracy, even American hero Franklin Scheckler, everyone but himself. Tracy only returned when Raymond made a fumbling and insincere apology.
It was Thanksgiving and Ray had too much to drink today, 'cause it's Ray kissing in the hallway. It's Ray kissing in the hallway. It's Ray kissing in the hallway, and he's open up for Sex Worker Wednesday. This show's a train wreck 'cause Ray's kissing in the hallway. And Ray's kissing in the hallway. Join in, Tukey. Ray's kissing in the hallway. Ray's kissing in the hallway. Ray's kissing in the hallway.
So when I came back from
this
New
really
York-
happened?
Yeah, I talked about this on my podcast. So when
I don't watch every episode, Ray.
So when I was having seizures, I got in the car accident. I was having seizures, and then I stayed at my sister's place. And they have an elderly dog, and it would sometimes pee on the floor. And my niece, my niece goes, I thought it was like in the bathroom, like, all right, maybe like, it's like, it's like, she said that I urinated in the floor, and I thought it was like in the bathroom. It's like this puddle, like in the hallway. And then I said, I'm like, you really think I would do that? And then I realized my sisters still look at me the way my mom did. So I know when that happened, when my niece thinks like, it's like, you don't think it's the elderly dog that urinated in the floor. You would think for a second it was me. And when my sister reacted like, well, why didn't you just clean it up? Why you got to make a big deal about it? I was like, you're fine with your daughter thinking I urinate in the middle of the fucking room. You're fine with that. And that really upset me, and it let me know that my sisters never quit looking at me like that child, like that problem child that my mom did. So I know my sister probably talked shit about me to her kids and family members, and that really fucking annoyed me. And that's when I was like, I just don't like that she like lets her kids look at me like that. That really pisses me off, even to this day. It's still fun. Every time I do, it reminds me of my mom being a dick to me. Every time shit like that. But yeah, that's when I like moved out of my sister's house. I'm like, this is stupid. My sister wasn't mad at me. She knew that the dog fucking urinated there, but just the fact that she like allowed her daughter to like think that I urinated in the middle of the room. Like, what are you doing? You really think I urinated in the middle of the fucking room? Never mind, you have a 15-year-old dog that urinates in the middle. No, I obviously didn't, Kevin.
Like any rational person, Kevin Brennan strongly suspects that it was indeed Raymond who pissed on the floor.
But like, you have a 15-year-old dog that urinates in the middle of the room. You know that. Why would you allow your daughter to like talk down to me and think that I fucking urinated in the middle of the room? That was it. And that's when I was like, I gotta leave. I wanted to leave anyways, but like, that's when I was like, this is just not cool. It just isn't cool. It made me feel like shit.
Section 6. Raymond's seething hatred for Danielle.
I had two sisters, one older, one younger, and my parents. And my sisters were kind of like best friends, or not best friends. They did nothing but fight their whole childhood, but they did everything together. They went place to place. And then my parents were like best friends, kind of did that. So even as a kid, I'm like just kind of like my own thing. You know what I mean? Like I remember my mom being like how come you stay in your room and watch television by yourself? I'm like, meanwhile, I'm like, really? That's where I got two sisters that can't walk across the street unless another one goes with them. But I'm the weirdo because and then also in our house was.
How old are your sisters?
One's 2 years older and one's 2 years younger.
Why can't one cross the street without help? Agoraphobia?
No. I think it's more my older sister that set the precedence. I don't know like how you feel your siblings work, but I really do think like the dynamic of our family was set by like my older sister, and she would be a pain in the ass. She was a pain in the ass to my parents and stuff. And I think that really sets the precedence for like how the rest of the family, because all my parents know is.
I'm sorry, it sets the what?
The precedence of the presidents. Precedence of how the rest of the family is. I was jealous of my mom because like I wanted like I grew up in a house with all females. Like it was just me, my two sisters, and my mom. And the fact that like, and then when my dad was around, it's like, well, I'm gonna do whatever your mom wants to do. It's like I'm your fucking son over here. Yeah. And when my mom did die, I got to hang out with my dad. It's not a fucking Cats in the Cradle song. Like I wanted to hang out with my dad, and I never really got to until my mom passed away.
Would you live next to your sister? You guys get a good deal in New York. She's coming to New York.
Which one of my sisters?
The good one.
Yeah.
How's your other sister, Bad News? What's she all
My
about?
older sister?
Yeah.
This is what I was saying before. Like the older sibling, like like my younger sister and I are cool.
But what would she do?
She is I love her. She's my sister.
I love her too. She's the sister of my friend.
Put it this way: like when my oldest niece, is 13.
Okay.
And when she is on her second husband, my older sister, her first husband left her while she was pregnant.
Okay.
Which everyone was like, how could he do that? And it's like, I know my sister.
You get it.
Like, I'm the only one that was like, yeah, she's a pain in the ass.
Right.
My sister's very selfish. And she would use her kids as leverage against my parents. You know what I mean?
When you say niece, it's her kid.
It's her kid. Yeah. But like, she would use it. Like, my mom and dad obviously love their fucking grandchildren.
Right.
And they're like, hey, and my sister's like, well, I don't know. She uses it.
Do you have an example?
All right. As an example, and this has nothing to do with her kids, but like when my parents were alive, and we'd be like, oh, we're going over to my grandma's house for Christmas. And my sister would be like, well, I can't get there by then because I got to get Caitlin ready. And it's like, no, it's just you're being a lazy bitch and you don't want to get there. You know what I mean?
Right.
She's a fucking... You know what I'm upset about growing up into my sister?
Now we're talking.
All right. My two sisters, both very attractive, like growing up.
Okay.
Like they're both... I was not attractive. But one thing I was upset with my older sister is because she was like good looking and she was popular and like both my sisters are good but they're not good looking now. Like now they had kids and shit.
Well, you didn't know at the time.
All right.
All right, good for you.
But no, here's why I am mad at my sister. Like growing up, like the fact that she was like a popular girl. We grew like the high school we went to, Lakewood High School. It's maybe like 3,000 kids go to school there. Like our graduating class was 700 kids. It's huge. It's fucking a huge school.
Okay.
And my sister was like a popular kid. If she would have been nice to me, it would have made it easy. But like I remember, like I would get bullied, and like kids would beat me up, and then she would like intervene and be like, I had a kid come up to me and apologize, being like, dude, if I would have known Danielle DeVito was your sister, I would have fucking punched you in the face. And it's like, all right, fucking sister, how about you fucking acknowledge me in the hallways and shit? You know what I mean? Like, it's so, like, she could have made my childhood so much easier just by being nice to me because I was her brother.
Is she trying to play it cool, like be the cool kid, and maybe it's not cool to know your younger brother?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I was not cool enough to hang out.
Has she done
any of those? And that really fucking hurt. Like it still fucking hurts to this day.
Have you ever told her?
No, she's a fat pig. Whatever. Like at the time, like,
is that justification? Because it seems like it still bothers you.
It really does fucking bother. She was a selfish bitch.
You should tell her. You never tell people when they bother you, do you?
No. Well, who gives a shit now?
About anything. But now's not too late, by the way.
But she would do that to my dad after my mom died, like when there was like family functions and stuff, and like, but like my dad would be like my dad would be like, all right, Danielle's gonna like step into the role of your mom or whatever, like, and then my dad's like, oh, Danielle's gonna cook this or that or something, and then like she would give him shit about like. She can't just do anything just for the sake of fucking doing it.
Your sister gives who shit? Your dad?
Yeah. Like, everything's got to be a big fucking production. Like, everything's got to... And so, yeah, it upsets me. Like, it really does upset me. Like, to the point that where I see how shitty she was, and I'm like... That's why my younger sister and I have, like, a good vibe. Like, I've always had a good vibe with my younger sister because for the fact that it's, like... Just I see what my older sister's doing, and I'm like... All right, I fucking don't want to be... I don't want to be like that to my younger sister. The way my older sister is. And by the way, the dude she married, like... all right, you want to get real? All right, let's throw some more Jack down. I'll tell you some real...
This is the guy that left my sister. All right, that's cool. Thanks, man. The guy that left my sister that she was married to, John, which, by the way, I really don't blame that dude for leaving. Like, I really do not. Like, his timing was fucking shitty.
Do you ever try to fake it? You're like, yes, that is too bad. You know?
No.
Like, yeah, that's the worst. Oh, my goodness.
But, like, I would see him, like, ride him at, like, family functions and shit.
And that's embarrassing.
And I'm, like, the only one because I'm just, like, he was, like, a year younger than my sister. And I'm 2 years younger than my sister. So I'm, like, the same age as that dude.
Right.
So
could you think of anything more emasculating than, is this what you're saying? Than being at a function, a party, anywhere, and your woman putting you down?
She would do, yeah.
I can't think of anything worse. In fact, I'm sure I'd go above and beyond if Catherine would never do this, but like, even if she's a little louder than I think she should be for something private. And I'm like, you're going to be talking to a stone, you know? This is private. Yeah. And she'd be like, I don't think I'm like, well, just so you know.
Yeah.
I don't react to that. Now you know me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's...
By the way, Catherine is so sweet.
Right.
This is where we can identify because I've dated her too.
What?
At the time, Keith was married to a woman named Catherine. Raymond claims that he had dated Catherine before her relationship with Keith, a claim which he has denied.
Can you believe it?
Has she ever called it dating?
I don't know.
All right, just ask her.
She knew me, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know.
Did she know you?
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
She was unaware that I was dating her.
Is there a picture of you two anywhere?
No.
Interesting.
I don't.
Okay,
That's
all right.
crazy.
All right, so go ahead. So he leaves her, and you get it.
Yeah, I'm the only one that gets it. Honestly, though, his timing was fucking retarded.
Right.
Anyways.
But when do you leave? Do you know what I mean? Do you leave when she's pregnant? You leave when she's about to have the baby? Do you leave when she has the baby?
You don't impregnate her if you're even fucking thinking.
You don't know.
Leaving.
You had a good night. You went out, you had some wine, you had dinner, and there was a good night. And like, maybe we could make this work.
No.
Who knows?
Anyways, a dude committed suicide.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long after he left?
Like 3 years after he left, and he jumped in front of a train in Chicago.
Is it the train she was taking? Because that's what I do.
No.
I'd think it through.
Right. And he was holding a picture of my niece.
Ah.
And his name was John Murray, and he jumped in front of a train in Chicago holding a picture of my niece. And you know what also? Like, my niece
is he doing that deliberately? I'm not trying to be an asshole. Is he doing that deliberately? Like, they're going to find me with the picture? Because he walked in front deliberately, and he knows he's going to be found clenching a picture.
I don't know.
Do you know what I mean?
You know what else is
He's
weird?
not just like clueless staring at the picture in a train came.
First of all, the dude my sister married, I love both my sisters. My younger sister, I admit, I'm closer with. Like, we're cooler.
What'd your sister have to say about her ex? Is it ex? Killing himself.
My niece has no idea that she had a
father or person.
Yeah, exactly. Like, she doesn't know who her fucking dad at this age. Like, she's going into high school and has no idea. At some point, you got to be like, yeah, here's your. Right. You know what I mean? I think because she's going to end up resenting my sister later in life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to fucking let her know.
Well, you're going to realize one time, where's your dad? A what?
Yeah. Like, this is your stepdad. Like, you know. And by the way,
draw a picture of your family. Oh, you're missing somebody.
Both my sisters, their husbands are amazing. I think I like them better than my sisters. Their husbands.
So your older
That's who I'd make out with. It's my brother-in-law. Both my brother-in-law.
I knew there was somebody.
I would make out with both. They're honestly, they're fucking great.
So your older sister has another husband, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's awesome. He's fucking fantastic.
Do you ever sit him down and go, what do you see? Because I don't fucking see it.
No,
just bro to bro.
I don't want to scare him.
Because
I don't want to scare him.
The niece needs a dad. You got to be nice to him.
I think my sister learned her limit from her last husband. Like she did change her tune.
Yeah.
Like she
That
like
throws you, man.
that's what I want to say. So my brother-in-law Dave be like, "Hey man, if you think she's shitty at all, you should have seen how she was to her last husband." My younger sister's husband was my locker partner throughout high school. That's who she ended up marrying. Was my
look at this.
Yeah. He's fucking awesome, dude. Tom
How come
Burrows.
he never helped you when you getting picked on in school? Huh?
He's the same age as me. He would.
I don't know,
dude.
I'd resent that.
No, I don't resent.
Right.
He's put it. Anytime I've gotten in financial trouble, and I'm a fucking comedian, I've been in financial trouble.
How much is in your bank account, Ray DeVito? How much?
$2,000.
$2,000.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
it.
All right.
That's it.
Okay. You ever think of letting men blow you for money? They do that.
I will now. I didn't know that was an option, but apparently, yeah. The worst thing any one of us, I remember the worst thing my older sister did. My dad came home from work early, and my sister so I'm like in 8th grade, so she's like in high school, and my dad came home from work early and caught her and her boyfriend having sex on her bed, and then her friend and her friend's boyfriend were having sex on my bed, and my dad walked in on that. I don't know what I think is a combination. It's like I think it was more mad at the fact that her friend was having sex on in my bedroom on my bed, so that was like. Yeah, that's not very nice. I never fucked anyone on her bed. I didn't have my friends like have sex. I didn't have sex in high school. Like my sister, my older sister, talks badly about me in front of her kids, which is like not cool. Which is like not cool at all. It's like so yeah, there's.
Oh God! Yeah. What did she say? What kind of shit is she saying, dude?
Well, I when I moved back from New York to Cleveland, I was also having some medical problems. I was having anxiety attacks, and I was on Adderall, which you shouldn't take Adderall if you have anxiety. No.
No.
So I mean, I was going through some health issues and stuff, and they haven't. Like every little like I was in her house. I was only in her house for like 3 months, and then I moved out. But like every little thing, like if there's a mess, she just would yell at me like I'm a kid or something, and I couldn't talk back because I'm staying at her place. It's not like you know what I mean. Like I couldn't I just ignored it and like, all right, I'm stepping out. Just like I'm not. Yeah, I'm just stepping out. Like you know.
But you're not at your sister's now, right?
No, I haven't. No, I was only there for like 2 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why I left my sister's place is just different schedules. Like they wake up at 5 a.m. They had a dog. Every time I walk in past 11:30, the dog would like bark. Also, it wasn't easy staying with my sister. It wasn't fun.
Right. Like what? Would you guys get into fights or just?
She's very bossy.
Bossy? Like how? What were you supposed to do?
Just every little thing. Just every little thing she could be bossy about. Like even if I wasn't there all day, like if there's a plate. Did you leave that plate? Was that you? What did you? Like I left this morning. I haven't been home all day. I don't know.
Is she older or younger?
Older.
How old? How much older?
2 years older. I got a sister 2 years older, one 2 years younger.
Okay. By the way, how many baseball cards do you have?
Not I don't really have them in volume anymore. I got rid of all the ones that like aren't like something to do.
Okay. What's the most you ever made off a card?
I never sell them, Keith.
Oh yeah, so it's for the love of the game, is that right?
Yeah, I don't sell them, man.
Do you put them?
I look at them with the love that my parents never showed me, Keith. I mean, I don't have them now just because I'm always on the move. So
they're in storage for a special.
No, they're with some relatives of mine. Not my sisters, but there were some relatives of mine.
All right.
Well, that's the other thing too. Like, I was going to leave my sister. She's like, "Oh, we'll just put them in the basement." I'm like, "No, they don't just fucking go in the basement.
They go on a shelf."
Yeah, well, no, because their basement floods every once in a while. And it's like, all right, I get it, but yeah,
I get it.
So it's like, what are we doing?
Right.
So I don't leave them with my sisters.
When I came back to Cleveland, my my one niece who's she's 15 and she works at Subway, and my sister goes, she can get you an interview at Subway. It's like, all right, thank you for
everything.
But also, like, I never did anything shitty where my sisters need to look down on me. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, there's no history.
Raymond's statement is completely divorced from reality. Only the most deranged slow could lie so boldly.
Are you younger or older?
Middle. I'm the middle child.
Oh, well,
yeah.
You kind of have middle child syndrome, maybe.
Yeah, you get it from both ends.
But my favorite thing when I moved back to Cleveland, my sister goes, my niece works at Subway, the restaurant chain. And my sister goes, she can get you an interview at Subway. It's like the most, it's like, all right.
Wow. Oh, is it maybe because of your job? They're like, oh, he doesn't have a real job.
Yeah. There's a lot of that. A lot of like, when I'm staying there, like, did you even work today? It's like, that's when I went back to Cleveland, I was staying at my sister's place. My niece works at Subway. My sister's like, hey, she can get you an interview at Subway. And it's like, all right. When I came back to Cleveland, my sister's like, well, Megan can get you a job at McDonald's if you like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm the only one to graduate from college out of the three, but like, they never like looked at me as like a real, like they've always looked down at me the way my mom used to. When I went back to Ohio, my sister said my niece can get me a job interview at Subway. That's what they thought of me.
Oh my God.
But when my sister's dog died, it hurt me just because it was the only thing that has been happy to see me. So when it died, that's what hurt the most. Is like I was used to at least one thing being always happy to see me when everyone else hated my guts. Yeah, it's funny. I got nieces and nephews. I like my nieces and nephews, but they different. No, they don't like hanging out with me. Like they went to my birthday, birthday dinner, and I tried talking to them. It's like pulling teeth. It's like, all right, I guess we're not talking. When I went back to Ohio, my sister said to me, she's like, because my one niece works at Subway, the restaurant, and she's like, she can get you an interview if you're into it. So
the comedy thing doesn't work out. At least you got a fallback plan now.
Yeah. So they're trying to get me an interview.
Hey, listen, if you want to, you and your niece can become co-managers of that Subway. Really take it to the next level.
Yeah, when I came back and I was staying at my sister's place in Ohio, and my niece, I was like, hey, what's the garage? She's like, I have to call my mom and see if I'm allowed to give it to you. It's like all right.
Give you what?
Yeah. When I was staying there, I was like, what's the code to get? She's like, I got to call my mom, see if it's okay to give it to you. Which makes me think, what does my sister say about me to my nieces and nephews?
What did you want to get into? You just keep saying the code. I don't know what you're saying.
Oh, in Middle America, to get in houses, a lot of it, there's like just the garage door.
Oh,
so you enter through the garage door.
She had to ask permission for you to be.
Yeah, and I was like, do you know I'm living here right now? I'm living here for the next
your uncle.
Yeah. You know, I used to share a bedroom with your mom for 14 years. It's like, yeah. Anyways, I'm your roommate for the next month.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll be coming. Yeah. So yeah, no, I have the garage code. I'm allowed in and out of but yeah, I just thought, but that makes me think, what do my sisters say about me to their children when I'm not around? Like that they have this low.
The Cleveland Slow's history with women is dark and chilling. The tale of his youth is one of constant misbehavior, lying to his mother, and even beating his sisters. Was Raymond motivated by spite for his mother when he reported his father to the authorities? to hurt her by taking away the most important person in her life? We can only wonder. Raymond's sinister behavior towards women traces back to his earliest memories of his mother, his childhood animosity towards his sisters, through his teen years and into adulthood. The Slow's hate for women seems to be woven into his very being, present from the moment he slithered into this world. Deep roots that feed into his horrific behavior towards women, to this very day.
I didn't have a great relationship with my mom. My mom hated my guts. When I was a kid, everything that went wrong, my mom just assumed it was my fault. I mean, my mom's dead, but she's a piece of shit to me when I was a kid. Yeah, it wasn't cool.
But like, I used to lie all the time when I was a kid. Like, if I was like, all right, I'm gonna get blamed for something, I would just lie about everything. I never told my mom anything, and then when I did, I would just lie to her. I just did that. And anything I said to my mom, she just assumed it was a lie. Like, whatever it was I tried to hide.
I wasn't innocent. I'd hit my sisters too. I'll own it. I did it.
I would hit my sisters, but yeah, I would punch them. You know, I'm like, fuck, if I'm going down, all right, if I'm already in trouble, let's get my money's worth.
I have no family. I have no family.
It was always my fault. Anything with me and my two sisters, it was always, this is Ray's fault.
As the great parliamentarian Edinburgh says, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. And that, in essence, is why I'm here today.